we're doing it different today. We're kind of going out of the box here. But as you can see, we are at the Wrestling Collector Store where it all happens. Mr. Tommy Fierro. This is literally a wrestling superstore, guys. And to be completely fair to all of you guys, you're going to actually take a look inside. Because today we're doing things a little differently, as I already said. We are doing Monday Night Virtual here at the Wrestling Collector Store. So why don't you come on in and take a peek, and then we'll get situated with Mr. Patera. Nice to look at, but hey, we're gonna do this, guys. Here we are. Here we are. You are getting a absolute first glance here at the Wrestling Collector Store, guys. This is awesome. Now, what do I always say? I give you guys treats. We all give you guys treats, but this, hello, if you aren't in the area, come here, travel.
Excuse me, miss, I'm trying to browse and quiet over here.
Okay, I apologize. I get a little loud and excited sometimes, but guys, the man of the hour, Ryan, over here.
I'm not the man of the hour. I'm preparing for the man of the hour.
Okay, see, now you gotta just make someone feel this big when they try to be nice.
Good to see you. Well, you know, it's funny because I'm looking at the official wrestling magazine for July of 1984.
Oh.
And Beauty and Talent, Velvet, and Princess Victoria.
Hey.
Not Vicious Victoria.
Yeah, no, not Vicious Victoria.
Princess
The Vivacious. It's Vicky, by the way, but hey, no one needs to know my government.
Okay, well, she'll be here this Saturday at the Wrestling Collector. We're going to be going live with Patera in a few minutes.
Woo-hoo.
How are you doing?
I had too much coffee. I'm excited. We are here. We're live at the Wrestling Collector Store. This is awesome. I thought you were going to be late. I was outside. I didn't see your car. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going in by myself. He's not here. So. Shit, man. You find anything good?
Calm down. Calm down.
You find anything good?
You seem very antsy today.
Oh, I'm so antsy because I'm excited. This is awesome.
Look, there's a ton of great stuff here. You got action figures from every different era.
That's right.
Every different company. You got t-shirts. You got stuff that I didn't even know existed. Like, I never knew that you could have an Undertaker, drench your friends, defend yourself, Super Soaker, whatever that is.
I had one, but my mom...
The Aqua Blaster. The Aqua Blaster.
She does everything. Everything.
Well, this isn't therapy. We're talking about Patera.
I know. You're right. Speaking of the real man of the hour, Patera, all right? He's done a lot more than you have. That's for damn sure.
Well, I'm not a wrestler, so I don't know. So,
oh,
yeah. Patera. Yeah, what can you say? Former Intercontinental Champion, defeated Pat Paterson, strongman competitor.
Yep.
Also an Olympian from 1972 Olympic Games. So yeah, it's very exciting to be here. And I don't know. Did you meet him yet?
I did.
You did?
I did. I came here a little earlier.
Okay.
Like I said, I thought you weren't going to show up, so I came on time,
Which is weird for you.
He has jokes. Anywho's these guys. Why don't we take a little look-see around this amazing superstore? Okay, take a look around. Did you find the Patera stuff? Because I found her.
I may have brought some of my own.
Oh, what do you got? Let's show the.
No, we're gonna save some for the regular show.
Okay. So here you have it, guys. Here you have it. All these wonderful things, and please. If you're in the area, if you're in New Jersey, come to this store, please. I gotta say, every time I come here, I always leave with something. Right, Ryan?
Yeah, if you have any Lita stuff, hide it.
Yeah, I already found.
What are you knocking stuff over, Vicky? What's going
on
over here?
Yeah, that was sorry.
Oh my God.
Sorry, guys. I got a little excited because I get so anxious. And...
I hope you don't mind autographs with scuff marks.
Guys, come over here. Let's take a look at this show. Look at this. This is insanity, right?
This is like a game show.
And I love it.
The way you're pointing everything out, I like it.
We're doing something different today. We're outside the box. Hello, this is fantastic. We got t-shirts in here, everything. Ryan, I know you told me how excited you were to be here today.
I'm very excited. How could you not be? It's my first time at the Wrestling Collector.
I love it.
We have our own cameraman that I'm making do Pilates the way he keeps moving around, spinning. I'm over here now. But we're very excited. 80swrestlingcon.com. Get those orders in. We're going to be going live with Mr. Patera in just a little bit. We also have a few blockbuster announcements
That's
today.
right. We're going to
about future upcoming signings, everything that's going on. 80swrestlingcon.com.
Guys, seriously, take advantage of every little thing we have going for you guys. You do not want to miss out on any of this. Ryan, I'm getting winded. There's so much to talk about.
Stop trying to get your stuff in, kid. Take a breath. Tell a story.
I can't help it. When you get excited, you gotta let it out. You gotta let it out, man. So again, guys, Patera here tonight. I got a huge treat for you. Not only having the wonderful Mr. Patera, but also being in the Wrestling Collector Superstore, guys. I'm super excited. There's so much that you don't see that goes on behind the scenes, and really, guys, this is all part of it here, so it's a big treat for everybody. What do you got?
I want to just also give a little heads up to everybody that's watching right now. The reason why this is a little different, we were planning on being here today, Wrestling Collector Superstore, give everybody a sneak peek, look at what they can see in person. However, we were informed that it wasn't our issue, but there's a major Wi-Fi issue in the area that we're in Stockholm, New Jersey. So we're trying to just do this on the fly. We're walking around, we're trying to stream, we're going to be with Ken Patera live in just a little bit. So if you're watching this and you're like, wow, this is a different setup, it's not just because we're at a different location.
That's correct.
We're battling, we're doing this on the fly. This is like WrestleMania when they had the bad weather and they were like, oh my God, get out there and talk. That's what we're doing right now.
Gotta call an audible. Gotta call an audible. Here we are calling audibles. Oh man, oh man, oh man. I'll tell you, I will tell you. So 80s Wrestling family, this is what we do. We work together, we're a team, and if none of this would be possible without any of you guys. It is not too late. Again, Ken Patera is here, he is ready. 80swrestlingcon.com, get those orders in now. You want to take advantage of this opportunity right here, right now.
I'm still trying to browse and I'm being harassed.
I'm not harassing you. I'm excited. You know, we don't do.
I always wanted to be on.
things together.
I always wanted to be on reality TV, and now just from this, I'm like, I don't want to be on reality TV.
You don't want to be followed.
No, I know. I kind of feel like it's like a theme thing, though, like almost like I'm on TMZ. But we want everybody to stay with us because when there we go. That's hot, right? Hey, how you doing?
You look awesome.
We want everybody to stay with us because we will be going live with Ken Patera in just a little bit. We got some blockbuster announcements. 80swrestlingcon.com. Go there, check it out. Find out all the upcoming signings from here. I need to prepare for the main deal.
You got it, guys. We are just a minute away here, guys. So what we're going to do is I am going to go hand it over to Ryan. He's ready to go with Mr. Patera, guys. Again, I'm going to say it one more time, 80swrestlingcon.com. Get those orders in. And, guys, give us, like, a break. 30 seconds. Everything that we just did is all on the fly, and we are so happy to be here with you guys. So what I'm going to do, Vicious Vicky's going to sign off. You're going to come with me, and we're going to take you to the man of the hour. Not Ryan, Ken Patera. That is the actual man of the hour. Now you're going to come into another realm of the Wrestling Collector Superstar. Here we go. Here we are. This is where the action's going to happen, guys. Ryan, it's all yours, baby.
Oh, right now it's all ours.
That's it.
We say that we do it on the fly. We ain't kidding about doing it on the fly. Are we in the shot?
Yes, sir.
All right, there we go. I got it from here. Ladies and gentlemen, Vicious Vicky. My name is Ryan Marr. You just talked to me a couple of minutes ago. Are we set? Are we good? All right. As we said, there's been some major Wi-Fi issues in the area. It's a shortage throughout the entire town, but the show must go on, and that's exactly what it's going to do. My name's Ryan Marr. I'm your Monday night virtual host. The man seated to my left doesn't need an introduction if you're an old school wrestling fan. He's a former Olympian, former strongman, former WWE Intercontinental Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ken Patera. Mr. Patera, how are you?
Just fine, Ryan. It's a pleasure meeting you for the second time.
Second time, yeah. It was many years ago on an independent wrestling show.
I do not remember.
Of course, I'm not very memorable. I believe
At least you're honest.
Exactly. I was ring announcing for that show, and I believe they had you do like a special guest enforcer type of thing with the main event. Are you still active on any indie shows? Or, well, now the pandemic, it's kind of tough, I'd imagine.
No, it's all broken.
All right, well, that's one way of looking at it. But now, I have to say, though, this had to be an interesting there, because this is not your first virtual signing. This is going to be the best one, obviously.
Well, we hope so.
Well, I think so. We're gonna figure
Yeah.
out. But isn't it mind-blowing to see how the business has changed from the standpoint of you starting out in the early 1970s, where it was basically what you are on TV is what you have to be 24/7 in real life, to now seeing how everything is just so wide open. That has to be an amazing thing to witness over the years.
Yeah, well, just to give a breakdown of signing autographs. When I first started, it was right after the '72 Olympic Games, and there were a few magazines and programs floating around, but not many.
Mm-hmm.
There was no glossy pictures, videotapes and all that stuff. And so people would come up with pieces of notebook paper ripped, like the corner ripped off, and a pencil.
Yeah.
And once in a while it'd be a ballpoint pen.
Okay.
And so that's what we signed our autographs on, so.
Now, if you were, obviously, because I mean, you're very well known as a heel, if you're a heel wrestler in a territory, or like working for the AWA, for example, and a guy comes up to you, a fan comes up to you, asks you for an autograph, do you sign it and kind of act like, yeah, all right, get out of my face, to keep that image alive?
Well, later on, but when I actually first started, I was a good guy.
Well, you had to be coming from the
Yeah,
Olympics.
you're right, yeah, the American weightlifting hero, and all that stuff. And
With Johnny Valentine, I believe, right? Wasn't that where he was pulling the names out of the fishbowl? I think that was the angle where you came in with Johnny Valentine and he was trying to avoid wrestling you, and then
oh, that was in Charlotte.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking originally
Oh, okay.
in the AWA out of Minneapolis.
oh, okay.
And then, a few years later, I wound up down in Charlotte with Johnny Valentine, Wahoo McDaniel, Ric Flair, all those guys,
What a crew.
Oh, yeah.
Inside and outside of the ring, I can imagine.
Mostly outside.
I would think that would be very, very interesting to say the least. Well, guys, we have a lot of great signings coming up. We want you to go to 80swrestlingcon.com to get your orders in for Mr. Patera. He's going to be with us for the next couple hours. You can also place orders for all the upcoming signings. And don't forget, if you spend over $100 tonight, you're going to get 3 autographed ECW photos. So go to 80swrestlingcon.com. We're going to be here throughout the course of the evening. I'm going to be letting you know of future upcoming signings. But I think we're going to get started right away. The first picture is Bill Dismaris in Warwick, Rhode Island. And it is a picture of Mr. Ken Patera with Bobby the Brain Heenan and Big John Studd. That one's in red.
Yeah, that was the family back in the day. But red. I have a red pen right here.
Don't forget, guys, spend that $100 on future signings. You'll get those 3 ECW photos, 80swrestlingcon.com. We have the chat going. If you have any questions or comments about Mr. Patera's career, keep in mind this is not a shoot interview. So we ask you that you just talk about memories of his career and bring up any interactions you may have had at a show or questions. But yes, Bobby Heenan, I imagine you have some amazing Bobby Heenan stories.
Oh, God, I met Bobby when I first started wrestling back in December of '72, it was. And Bobby was in Minneapolis, and I think he was managing Nick Bockwinkel and Ray the Crippler Stevens.
Wow.
Yeah, what a crew that was. That was probably, without a doubt, one of the best tag teams of all time.
Without a doubt, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you've had, and it's amazing to me because back in that era, you always see that they would put guys that weren't talkative with managers. You are a very talkative, charismatic person, but yet you had the greatest managers. I mean, you were with Bobby Heenan, Captain Lou Albano, the Grand Wizard. I mean, I can't think of any other guy that had a run like that where they had substantial runs with several different managers.
Yeah, JJ, JJ's.
J.J. Dillon?
Yeah, J.J. Dillon was one of my managers. Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart.
Yeah.
It depended on what territory I was in.
Yeah.
I didn't just stay in one territory. I literally traveled the country and Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was everywhere. I was like Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Next up, we got Sissy Hall in Murrells Inlet, South Carolina. That's in red.
Sissy. Only Sissy I know is Sissy's Basic.
No, there you go. It was my nickname in college. Sissy.
Well, by looking at you, I can tell that, God, let's get real.
He's going to put me in the full Nelson later.
I thought this was a shoot interview while we're signing autographs.
Yeah, if you want it to be, you can. You can say whatever you want.
I'm just gonna slap your ass up.
I know, because some people, when they do these signings, they go, oh, I don't want to talk about this, I don't want to talk about that. So I just always preface it by telling people that, if you ask a question, it may not get answered, but you can say whatever you want. You're the man of the hour. We do have a question from Devin Ashman. Your thoughts on the inaugural Survivor Series in 1987?
Yeah. No, that was '88.
Okay, well he said 87, so. If you said it's 88, I believe you.
Yeah, because that was one of my last matches in the WWF. That was just before I told Vince McMahon to go fuck himself.
Well, there you have it. Want to shed some light on that?
Well,
you said you wanted it to be a shoot interview. I mean, you know.
that doesn't have to be. I'm not.
And it's whatever you want it to be. Eric Hansen in Washington, Illinois. He wants in red to Eric. Welcome to the family. Tony Bronco, as Iron Sheik would say, Ken is the real. There you go.
Yeah, Sheiky baby. He was in our training camp, 1972.
And that was also Ric Flair was in that training camp as well, right?
Yeah, that's when I got Rick. Rick and I were living together.
It's funny you mentioned that because Thorsten Fritz just said, how did Ken end up living with Ric Flair for a while, and was it a party every night?
Almost. And then, since I was training for the Olympic Games and the Pan American Games at the time, I had to get up at 6:30 every morning and go to the gym.
Oh, wow.
Well, Rick would go to bed at 3 or 4 in the morning, sleep till noon. I'm down at the gym.
That had to get old after a while, I would imagine.
Yeah, they got real old. Let's see, to Eric.
80swrestlingcon.com. Check out the list of all those great upcoming signings. We're here tonight with Mr. Ken Patera. Next week we're with Eric Rowan and Fred Rosser. You may know him as Darren Young. We got the Rock and Roll Express on June 7th. We got the Head Shrinkers, Rikishi and Samu, June 21st. We got Val Venus, June 28th. Tyrus, July 5th. Dean Malenko, July 26th. The Godfather on August 2nd. Mark Merrill, August 16th. September 13th. Big announcement. We got the Gimmick Night. Brooklyn Brawler, Bushwhacker Luke, Men on a Mission, Mo and Oscar. September 20th, we're here with Slick. September 11th, Barry Windham and J.J. Dillon. And just so everybody knows, so they can make their plans now, October 25th, the Monday Night Virtual Spooktacular with the Boogeyman and Gangrel. That's going to be an exciting one. So more information on that will be available. Also, Virtual Mania 2 tickets are on sale. Not tickets, but orders. 80swrestlingcon.com. Get them in. Next up, we got Anthony D. Simone from Bellport, New York. Just signature on that one. All right, next up we have Terry in St. Paul, Minnesota, your home state.
That's where I live.
Minnesota, there you go.
Well, I live in Woodbury. It's a suburb. Yeah, one of those uppity suburbs of St. Paul.
You've been in Minnesota many, many years now, right?
Yeah, I moved from Portland, Oregon, back to Minnesota. And I'm going to say 1969 or 1970.
Okay.
One of those years. And my older brother, Jack Patera, he was defensive line coach for the Minnesota Vikings at the time. And a few years later, he wound up being the first head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. But when he was with Minnesota in the late 60s and early 70s, he was voted defensive coach of the year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was a big honor.
And you still have gotten used to the Minnesota cold. You never, as you went on, said, I got to get out of here, go to Florida. How do you deal with that?
I remember Hulk Hogan wanted me to move down there to Tampa. This is several years ago.
What's that?
If you just sign the house.
Oh, you just got to sign your name on that one.
Oh,
No big deal. 80swrestlingcon.com. We're here with Pat Paterson. Get those orders in now. I just read off the list of all the upcoming signings. I'll do that again in a few minutes, but you can see them all there on the website, 80swrestlingcon.com. Don't forget to spend $100 on a future signing. Get 3 ECW autographs tonight. Right now, another Minnesota, Kathy Worster. Kathy Worster. To Kathy.
where's she from?
Was that St. Paul also? The local people are representing
Yeah,
tonight.
St. Paul. Here, I've come all the way back to New Jersey to sign autographs for people in St. Paul. How does that work? I tell ya.
Keep those memories coming in the chat.
Yeah, we don't have any signings out there in Minnesota.
No, it's so cold all the time. It's like, getting people to leave the house.
Well, a couple months ago it was almost 90 degrees.
I remember you were on the 80s Wrestling Podcast talking about that.
Yeah, it was real freaky. It went from like 88, next day I think it was 30. So that's the weather change. It can drop 50. I've seen it drop as much as 60 degrees.
Oh, I believe it.
And,
Especially there.
just overnight.
For those of you that are just tuning in, and if you're a regular viewer and it looks different, we are at the Wrestling Collector Store in Stockholm, New Jersey. We're having some issues, though, unfortunately, with a town-wide Wi-Fi outage. So bear with us tonight, but we are at the Wrestling Collector Store. You can follow them on Instagram at the Wrestling Collector Store. We got another one for Sissy Hall in South Carolina. To Sissy. Guys, go to 80swrestlingcon.com with any questions or inquiries about future signings. Tonight we're talking about Mr. Ken Patera. So, if I read down a list of signings and you have a question about it, 80swrestlingcon.com. Stephen Cavall in Foxborough, Massachusetts. To Stephen, stay off the top rope.
Why? I like the top rope. Ah.
Tony Bronco says, I never understood why Americans would choose to live in Minnesota when you can live in warmer states. I'm stuck in Canada.
Oh, that answers your question.
Ryan Martinez says, the Wrestling Collector Store is amazing. Thank you, Ryan. Unfortunately, for me, this was my first time here. I've been waiting to come for 2 months. I was glad to finally be able to check it out. It's a great, great location. And it's not often that you get that. A whole store devoted to professional wrestling, but we have it here, so make sure you follow them on Instagram. Kyle James says, Ken, I saw you versus Andre at Madison Square Garden.
People say, God, how many times did you wrestle Andre? And he was, we were in the locker room, I think it was, believe it or not, I don't know why I remember that. We were in Hartford, Connecticut. Big arena there, about 18,000 people. And this kid comes in the locker room, he's a rookie. This is going to be his first match. And I says, oh, he must be awfully nervous. Oh, yeah. I'm sitting at one end of this big long table. And he didn't realize that Andre was sitting at the other end.
Uh-oh.
And he says, God, is that Andre the Giant? Yes. Who do you think it is? A midget?
Yeah, I don't think Andre and Skylo Low ever got confused for each other.
No. And so I said, yeah, that's Andre, all right. Have you ever wrestled Andre? I says, well, let me ask him. I said, Andre, have we ever wrestled? He starts laughing. Yes, boss. I said, what, 500 times? At least. And he said, no, boss, 600 times. I said, really? I started thinking, well, you add up all the battle, we wrestle each other in all the battle royals, probably 150 battle royals over a 16-year period.
There you go.
So he started adding all these matches up. Single matches, I wrestled him a minimum of 300.
Wow.
And then we had tag team matches, we had 6-man tag, and then we had 8-man tag. So you add all those matches up, easily 600 times.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so I said, so I look at the kid, he's probably about 21, 22 years old. I said, does that answer your question? Oh, yes.
Do you remember who the kid was? Did he go on to become somebody the fans would know years later?
Yeah, I finished up like 2 weeks later.
Ah, okay. So, Nigel Edgington in Denver, Colorado. Again, another shot there with Big John Studd and Bobby Heenan and Ken Patera, the Heenan family.
Yeah, good picture. Let's see, to Nigel.
Emil Menard says, Ken was awesome on last week's 80s Wrestling the Podcast. A must listen. Yes, definitely go check that out. 80s Wrestling the Podcast and your favorite podcast platform. It's on all of them. Tommy Fierro coming in from the other room tonight. Spend $100 or more for future signings. Get a free autograph of 3 ECW stars. So 80swrestlingcon.com. Get your orders in for Mr. Patera as well as all the future signings that we have coming up.
I can't even see. Did I sign my name on there?
To Nigel and Rebecca. No, I don't see your signature yet. The 80swrestlingcon.com. Gonna be here with Mr. Patera for quite the while. Check out all those upcoming signings. Next up, we got Patrick Mayberry to Patrick in red. Lots of great signings coming up. Don't forget Virtual Mania 2. You can get your orders in for Virtual Mania 2, which is on Sunday, August 22nd. The website, agewrestlingcon.com, is open now for those orders. Right now, we got Christopher Giles, sorry if I butchered it, in Georgia to Chris Strongman.
Does he want my name on there or just Strongman?
Well, I would say, I think to Chris Strongman and then your name, signature.
I think so.
Okay. Chris Briggs says, good evening. Hello from Massachusetts. How you doing, Chris? Rich Lopez, can you turn your mic up? I can't hear too well. Unfortunately, Rich, we had to do a last-minute audible because of a Wi-Fi issue in the area we're broadcasting from, so we apologize. If you'd like, crank that volume all the way up. Thorsten Fritz wants to know if you have any memories about working with Bam Bam Bigelow in 1987 and 88.
Yeah. As an opponent or as a tag team partner?
He just says working with, so I guess either one
Yeah.
would work.
Yeah, Bam Bam was kind of an edgy guy, but I like some other wrestlers, you know, they
Yeah.
go, and I said, God, I like him.
Yeah.
You know, I got along well with him.
Yeah, no, I became very good friends with his son years later, and I lived in that area, the Jersey Shore,
Oh,
Point
okay.
Pleasant. So
Yeah.
Bam Bam, it's kind of like Bam Bam and Bruce Springsteen. Anywhere you go, someone's got a story about
Yeah.
Bam Bam and Bruce Springsteen. But I to watch a guy like him, the way that he moved, always blew
Yeah,
me away.
he's very agile.
Very, very.
Yeah, I remember back in the day, Jimmy Brunzell was real good friends with Bruce Springsteen. And whenever Bruce would perform at Madison Square Garden or anywhere, you know, Jimmy would always fly his wife back here from Minnesota, and they, I think they even stayed at Bruce's house a few times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I mean, they were real buddies.
There you go. Next up, we got Robert Love in Alameda, California. Here's a picture of you with the title and the Olympic logo right there. And so here we go. That's to Robert green. Oh, that one's green. He wants full Nelson Master. I believe that's the only green one we have so far. Speaking of the full Nelson, that's one of those things, you know, I remember you're the first guy that I ever saw use it. But nowadays, it's like every couple of years they try to repackage it with someone else.
Yeah.
Chris Masters, now the champion, Bobby Lashley. Is he still the champion this week? Can anyone confirm him?
Yes.
Well, a few weeks out of the loop. Now the title changes hands every 3 days, so you don't know. But
Yeah, but could they swing their opponent
probably not. I haven't seen
like
it.
I did?
Probably not.
Yeah, so there's a big distinction. Mine was not only the full Nelson, it was called the swinging full Nelson.
There you go.
For you jabronis out there that don't know. It was a long time ago. God, this thing, how long was that? 45 years ago.
Well, you were still using it in the 80s, though, too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I started using it 45 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And he goes, God, how do you do that, Patera? I says, well, you have to be strong.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, that's actually an interesting question that I wanted to ask you, was because I know that a lot of guys that went from amateur wrestling kind of got some flack from their colleagues when they went to pro wrestling. Was there that same attitude amongst the weightlifting community? I mean, here you were, you're an Olympian powerlifter. When you went into wrestling, were they kind of like, ah, come on, what are you doing? Or is it a different mindset from those guys?
Entirely different mindset. Yeah, because it's a different sport.
Yeah.
You know. And but yeah, I remember some amateur wrestlers ribbing their friends about trying out for pro wrestling, but most amateur wrestlers that tried to go into pro wrestling weren't worth a shit.
Yeah.
They were terrible. They couldn't make the transition. And there were a few that did. Jack Briscoe,
Oh, of course, yeah.
Jerry Briscoe, Vern Gagne, but
And years later, Kurt Angle.
yeah, Kurt Angle finally came along. So Robert.
80swrestlingcon.com. Get those orders in for all the upcoming signings. Don't forget to spend $100 on the future signings, and you'll get 3 ECW Superstar autographs. So check that out right now at 80swrestlingcon.com.
Full Nelson master. Often imitated but never duplicated.
There you go.
Alright,
Straight from the man himself.
absolutely. Yeah, but there was a lot of technique into that swinging full Nelson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
imagine so.
Yeah.
Ryan Martinez is asking, and a few other people asked before, does Ken watch the current WWE product? And if yes, what does he think?
Do I know?
Do you watch the current WWE product at all?
Very rarely.
Yeah.
And not a lot.
Yeah, it's very different
Just-
nowadays.
Yeah, yes.
Wade Bates, 2 Wade in silver. No, that's silver for this one.
Oh,
I think the green is done now until more come in.
yeah.
We're on the fly here today. Very on the fly at the Wrestling Collector Superstore.
I like the gray lot better.
Adelisa Vega Garcia, you were the 2nd Intercontinental Champion, correct? Beat Pat Paterson, the 1st champion. Who did you enjoy working with more, Pat Paterson or Pedro Morales?
Hi Patterson. Pedro was good. I mean, it was my idea to do a program with Pedro. And, he'd been WWF champ. And we were both getting there the end of our careers. No, Pedro was, I wasn't. I still had about another 8-9 years to go. But a lot of people said, well, why'd you retire? I said, because I got sick and tired of Vince McMahon and all his bullshit.
That seems to be a common theme.
Yeah, and then Bruno and I, we, neither one of us really got along with Vince. Well, we get along to get along. That was about it.
Well, that feud that you had with Bruno, that was before my time. I wasn't born until 1983. However, back in the days of the video stores, you would go in and Coliseum Video had the WWF Classics, and I remember renting a tape that had the Texas Death Match, and I think it was 77, with you and Bruno at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
And to watch that now is mind-blowing to really think about it, because as a kid, it's one thing, but to watch it now and say to yourself, in 1977, all those Italians in New York City at Madison Square Garden, and I actually know a person who started a career as a ticket broker, and it was because of him selling tickets to the Italian community during Bruno Sammartino's heyday. So to have a death match with someone like that in Madison Square Garden, I couldn't even imagine what leaving the arena was like.
It was wild. Madison Square Garden in the back, there's a causeway that spiraled down, and then you go out the back door onto the street. Well, every Italian in New York City was down there. But there, F this, F that, you know, I thought, oh shit. And I was with a friend of mine. One night we came down there, Bruce Wilhelm, a lot of people remember Bruce. He won the World's Strongest Men contest the first 2 years. And what year was that? 77, 78, somewhere, 79, whatever it was. And we get down there, and we're gonna meet our wives back at the Drake Hotel in New York City. So we get down there, and Wilhelm says, "How in the hell are we gonna get out of here?" I said, "Just follow me." We walked up about 2 blocks. The shit that was flying, and no, it was a madhouse.
But I bet it worked to your advantage that they knew that you were a legit powerlifting champion,
Oh, yeah.
Olympian, because they're gonna think twice before they try something.
Yeah, exactly.
Chris Cooper in Roaring Springs, Pennsylvania, 2 Coop. 2 Coop. 80swrestlingcon.com. Got a bunch of great signings coming up. Next week we're going to be back here with Eric Rowan and Fred Rosser, formerly known as Darren Young. We're going to be here on June 7th at the Rock and Roll Express. June 21st, the Head Shrinkers, Rikishi, Fatu, and Samu. June 28th, Val Venus. July 5th, Tyrus. July 26th, Dean Malenko. August 2nd, The Godfather. August 16th, Mark Merrow. Looking forward to that one. September 13th is going to be our gimmick night with the Brooklyn Brawler, Bushwhacker Luke, and Men on a Missions, Mo and Oscar. September 20th, you can call him a Reverend, you can call him the Doctor of Style. The Slickster is going to be here. Hopefully he brings some Yardbird with him. October 11th, Barry Windham and J.J. Dillon. And then, of course, October 25th, just announced the virtual Spooktacular with the Boogeyman and Gang Grell. Next up, we got Sean McBride, silver to Sean. Keep those memories coming in the chat. If you have any questions for Mr. Patera, we're going to be here, but 80swrestlingcon.com. Also, if you guys are watching along in the chat on Facebook, feel free to share this link to your feed. There might be some people on your friends list that are watching that see this and go, hey, you know what? I want a Ken Patera picture. And now they can. 80swrestlingcon.com.
Yes. There's the picture of me and Pedro right here.
There you go.
I heard he just passed away not too long ago.
Yeah, I want to say maybe within the last year, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was living not far from here, Woodbridge, Woodbridge, New
Yeah,
Jersey.
Woodford.
All right, next up we got Brian Lanzieri in Andover, Connecticut. This is a promo photo. There you go with the blonde hair in the USA Olympic singlet. Thorsten Fritz says, Ken defended the Intercontinental title at Showdown in Shea against Tony Atlas. Any memories you could share about working with Tony?
Well, yeah, a lot. I wrestled Tony about 100 times down in Mid-Atlantic territory, out of Charlotte, Jim Crockett Promotions out of Charlotte. And then I had already been up here, so then Tony shows up. And I remember Shea Stadium very well, that for 5 or 6 days prior to the match actually happening, the weatherman over there in New York City, oh, it's going to be a downpour, it's going to be this, we're going to have hurricane force winds, and it's just going to be a disaster, you know, don't even plan on going to Shea Stadium because it's just going to be miserable.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that guy was a complete jerk. And so I'm talking to Vince McMahon Sr., and I said, boy, but I thought these guys were your friends. This guy's the biggest jerk that I've ever seen. So instead of having 65 or 75,000 people there, we wound up, I don't remember what it was.
I don't know if anybody wants to look up the attendance at Showdown at Shea. Catering manager Ian Levy or somebody.
I think it was in the low 40s.
Aaron Karpinka in Canada.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, he's saying low. Mr. Patera was there. He's saying low 40s. I would imagine that whatever number was put out there possibly was inflated a little bit, right? Because I've heard that they've been famous for doing that.
Yeah, well, not that night, because, you know, it's just, the weather anyway, all these catastrophic weather reports never materialized. It never rained
Oh, it's the worst.
until Tony Atlas and I, well, so the old man comes to me and says, hey, can you and Tony go on last? I said, yeah, but we're scheduled to go on 5th or 6th. He says, well, trust me, Ken. He says, if it does rain, everybody here, that they're gonna leave. Yeah, so to hold the crowd, they're not gonna leave with you in the ring. So that's why I need you to go on at the end. So, which I agreed, you know.
Yeah.
So we get in the ring, we're having our match, 10, 12 minutes, whatever it was. We got out of the ring. I can't remember if Tony beat me or I beat Tony. But anyway, what was it, 40 years ago, what the hell, I can't remember everything.
Well, if you were the Intercontinental Champion, I don't think he beat you. Cause
Tony beat him.
No,
Tony did beat him.
Yep.
It wasn't for the title.
Singles match for the Tony has by count out.
Oh, he beat you by count out. So you kept the title. Who gives a shit, right?
And the attendance was 36,000.
Oh, 36,000. You were close. You said 40.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
pretty close, yeah.
so anyway, the weatherman cut that crowd in half. It could have easily been 70,000 people.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And I know Shea Stadium doesn't seat 70,000 people, but they have a big infield. And that's where they had all the chairs set up. And anyway, we get back to the locker room and it started to rain. But for 5 days prior, all these weather experts, all their forecasts were for naught because it never did rain
Gotcha.
until after the matches were all over. Yeah.
'80swrestlingcon.com. Get those orders in for Mr. Patera. We're going to be here with him till about 10 p.m. But don't forget about all the upcoming signings that are listed. J.R. Sanchez, hi Ken, loved your face-to-face with Bobby Heenan where you said, you sold me down the river, always stuck with me, then you choke out the weasel.
Yes.
Yeah, he was one of those guys, Bobby Heenan. We've talked about it with other stars on past signings. I'm very saddened by the fact that I never had a chance to meet him because I just think he was a five-tool performer. He could do everything.
Yeah, great guy. Yeah, he's a very good friend of mine. Yeah. I tell you, but writing the silver here, it makes my eyes cross. I don't know if I wrote Intercontinental.
You did. I see it.
Did it?
WWF Intercontinental Champion. Yeah, sometimes you never know what you're going to get. Some people want like a novel signed to them. Sometimes they just want the name.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I think that's.
Next up, we got Jan from France. Jan. So your fans are truly worldwide, Mr. Patera.
God, I got a slug of Europeans about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. A lot of them from Scandinavia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Rich Lopez says, how many different 8x10 photos do you have available? They're all available at 80swrestlingcon.com. Go on there, select one, follow the information on how to order. It'll be passed along to us. You'll get your shout out and your picture. Up next, we got Jumpin' Jay, the 80s Wrestling Podcast co-host. You were just on the 80s Wrestling Podcast, your most recent episode, so check that out on your favorite podcast platforms. Keep those questions and comments coming in the feed.
Did he want Jumpin' Jay on here? Or?
Just 2J.
Did-
2J.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Jesse Knight says, Ken Patera is the reason I'm a power lifter. I'm sure you probably hear that many, many times.
Oh, over the years, yeah, many times.
Well, think about it. You're probably one of the first guys. Now, I'm not that familiar with the powerlifting community, but you were probably the first guy that was put in a spotlight on national television.
Yeah.
So a lot of people probably weren't really aware of powerlifting until they saw you.
Yeah, exactly. The number one, it wasn't powerlifting. I did Olympic lifting.
Oh, okay.
There's a big difference.
And so it's not called powerlifting in the Olympics?
No.
Okay. Well, can you tell I don't really work
The
out?
Powerlifting Federation keeps trying to get powerlifting into the Olympics, but they keep saying, yeah, that's not a sport. What powerlifting is bench press, deadlift, and squat. Olympic lifting is a two-hand snatch and the two-hand clean and jerk. And in the 72 Olympic Games, when I competed, the last military press was also included. So we had 3 lifts, press, snatch, clean and jerk, and powerlifting was bench press, deadlift, and squat.
Okay.
And the difference is, powerlifting, they have all these ridiculous, they have belts like elephant harnesses, and they have these super wraps, they call them. They can't even squat unless they have 1,000 pounds on the bar. And so it's just a different sport, you know.
Yeah, well now you learn something new every day, and now I just learned the difference between powerlifting and Olympic lifting, which is good, because now I know which I need to go into when I'm going to make my choices, because I am an elite athlete, in case you couldn't tell.
I can tell.
And I like your sarcasm, you're very, very well tuned. Scott Meyer in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, silver to Scott.
Because I used to, prior to the Olympic Games, I used to go to Gold's Gym down there in California. And
In Venice Beach?
I've been to
Okay. Muscle Beach.
Muscle Beach, same thing. But at that time, Arnold Schwarzenegger was training there, and once in a while, the big Italian kid from Long Island, Lou Ferrigno. And all the top bodybuilders from around the world used to train there, but you know, not all every day, but. And I used to go in there, you know, just to, you know, talk to the guys, because they didn't have a weightlifting platform there.
Yeah.
So I couldn't, there was nothing for me to train. And I remember one day I was in there, and Joe Gold, the owner of the Gold's Gym franchise, he was sitting at a wooden desk inside the front door there. I went to sit down on the desk. No. Here, sit in the chair. Sit in the chair, Ken. He said, this desk isn't real stable. So I went like that, and the thing was ready to fall over.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, it was raining outside. And they had these coffee cans and some pots and pans, and there's about 50 of them all over the gym. Well, the roof was corrugated steel, and it had 1,000 holes in it.
Oh, wow. That'll do it.
Yeah, so whenever it rained, you know, to prevent the floodwaters enveloping the place, they had to try to catch as much rainwater as they could.
You know, a lot of people are asking similar questions, so I'll try to go with some of the more recent ones that I've seen. Ian Levy, he's right next to me. Oh, okay, that was a regular announcement.
Yes.
Sorry, my internet's starting to go a little in and out here. But again, just a little update. If you don't see your question or hear your question get asked or answered, it could be a couple things. Number one, we could have asked it already. Number two, we are having some Wi-Fi issues. There's a shortage in the town. So please bear with us. Thorsten Fritz says, any memories about being a tag team with Billy Jack Haynes? And are you still in touch with Billy Jack?
I haven't talked to Billy in 2 years.
Okay.
But we've been out of wrestling since 1988.
Yeah.
Which is over 30 years.
Yeah.
So that's not too bad.
Yeah, pretty good run there with Billy.
Yeah, and he still lives in Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
I still live in St. Paul, Minnesota, although I'm from Portland, Oregon too. Did you ever know Billy when you were growing up? I said, no, Billy's like 10, 11 years younger than I am.
Oh, he is.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I wasn't aware he was.
I'm an old man.
Yeah, but Billy.
But like an hour ago, I said I'm an elderly invalid. You know, God,
Hey, you're only as old as you feel.
I feel old.
Chris Zaucha in Lake in the Hills, Illinois. To Chris Zaucha, he wants you to call him the world's strongest man. I think it looks, unless you're referring to yourself as world's strongest man. I don't know. You're the world's strongest man.
Chris might be one of those oddballs out of the woods, you know, that claim everything under the sun.
There you go. 80swrestlingcon.com. Get those orders in for Mr. Patera. Also, all the upcoming signings as well. Don't forget, if you spend $100 on the future signings, we're going to throw in 3 ECW Superstar autograph photos. So get those orders in now at 80swrestlingcon.com. If you're watching in the chat on Facebook, hello. Please share us with everybody out there. If you're watching on WrestleZone or anywhere else, hello to you as well. But if you are on Facebook, spread the word. Share the link. Larry Frieda says, looking great, Ken. That's what I've been saying this whole time. He keeps calling himself an elderly invalid. He looks great. Dennis Bernau just joined. He's watching. Hello, Dennis. Dana Smith wants to know if you ever body slammed Andre the Giant.
About 10 times, way before we even know who Hulk Hogan was.
There you go. That's why it's got to burn everyone's ass that slammed Andre when WWE continually uses that image of Hogan slamming Andre.
Yeah, I think Hogan was probably in junior high school. First time I slammed Andre.
There you go. Jared Zacharias in Abingdon, Maryland. To Jared, WWF Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, when I was wrestling Andre back there in the early 70s, early 80s. And then I wrestled him in the mid 80s too, a few times, you know, but when you wrestle a guy 600 times in your career, you gotta sneak in a few body slams.
Without a doubt. But I can imagine the response being similar no matter where you were every time you did slam him. I mean, people were probably just in awe of that.
Yeah, well, the first time I body slammed Andre was in New Haven, Connecticut.
Okay.
And the second time I wrestled or body slammed him was about a year later up in Montreal, his hometown at the time. And Intercontinental.
Cliff Smalling says, what's the heaviest you could bench press back in your prime?
What did I just explain to you? I was an Olympic lifter.
I understand that. But I didn't know if you ever worked out bench pressing like.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I did 552-pound overhead press. That's where you have to pick the
Oh, I understand that. I just didn't know if you did like ever like a bench pressing as part of your workout.
Well, he doesn't understand.
Well, thank you, Cliff. You almost got me in trouble.
Yeah.
Don't ask stupid questions.
He did get you.
Don't ask stupid questions, Cliff.
That's right.
HandysWrestlingCon.com for all the upcoming signing information. I'll be reading off the list again in just a little bit. We are here with Mr. Ken Patera, so make sure you get those orders in at 80swrestlingcon.com. Don't forget, if you spend $100 on any of these upcoming signings, we're going to send you autographed photos of 3 ECW superstars. Don't forget to share the chat out with your friends.
But bench pressing, I really never. I think I did 615 or 625 without even practicing.
Well, we were Ron Simmons, same thing. I was like, "What'd you do in your prime?" He goes, "About 600." Like it was like just a normal occurrence.
Yeah.
So I love when you guys are like, 650. No, it's what you did. Strong men. Jason Richardson in Lowville, New York.
Yeah, ask all these bench pressers that bench press 600-700 pounds. I asked them how much they picked up off the floor in military press. But you wouldn't even get an answer. Yeah,
How much for you?
552.
552. Wow,
Yeah,
unbelievable.
that was the most ever pressed by anybody. That's why I'm an elderly invalid now.
80swrestlingcon.com. Get those orders in for Mr. Ken Patera. Check out the list of all of the upcoming signings.
You know, holding back those stupid cars and vans and pickup trucks.
Yeah, I could imagine. But was there ever, especially in your sport of Olympic lifting, did they ever tell you, were there guys that warned you that that was going to lie ahead, or was it just not even a thought at the time?
No. There had only been one or two people ever try that stuff.
Yeah.
I was one of the dumb ones. Yeah.
Another question coming in. Is it true that Ken was supposed to beat Bruno for the world title, but Billy Graham talked Vince Sr. into Billy winning it instead? And that's when Ken became the Intercontinental Champion instead. Any truth to that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but not in that order. It was, Eddie Graham was the promoter down in Florida at the time. And Vince McMahon, the old man, was real good friends with Eddie Graham down there in Florida. And Billy Graham was wrestling for him at the time. There's no relation or nothing. And so they had an agreement from like a year before Bruno retired that Billy would beat Bruno for the title. And Bruno didn't know it, and I didn't know it.
Oh, wow. Interesting how that works out.
Yeah.
All right, Jesse Knight in Beecher, Illinois. To Jesse, he wants my fellow powerlifter. Oh, blue.
I never did power lifts. It was Olympic lifts.
I knew as soon as I read it, it was going to be an issue. But it came in, so I said it very, very sheepishly, just to make sure. But yes, see, but again, I didn't know that either, so I stand corrected. I just always assumed that the people you saw in the Olympics were powerlifters. I didn't know.
Olympic lifters. But that's the strength of the news media. Powerlifting was a big deal for all comers meets along with bodybuilding contests.
Now, are there guys that do both though? Because Mark Henry is always classified as a powerlifter, but he was in the Olympics as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are guys that do both. Then.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
EasWrestlingCon.com. Gonna be here with Ken Patera. We have a bunch of great upcoming signings headed your way. We got Slick on September 20th, and Men on a Mission, Oscar and Mo, on September 13th, the week before. Those are two very rare signings. That's what we try to bring you here with these Monday Night Virtuals. Some guys that you don't always get to see very often. And we're certainly having that tonight with Mr. Ken Patera. So share the link. Tell your friends to go to 80swrestlingcon.com and get those orders in. Next up, we got Tom Bliss in Connecticut.
I'm gonna take a break here.
You're gonna
for
take a
second.
break?
Yeah. I'm gonna go to the little boy's room.
All right, so Ken Patera is taking a break. So 80swrestlingcon.com, will you stand up so I can get out of
Just
this
be a
break?
couple minutes.
Oh, all right, yeah.
I'm back. I'm notorious for keeping seats warm, so
What's that?
we're gonna do that again.
Yeah, no problem. Anyway, 80swrestlingcon.com.
So
You want to do it? You can do it. I'm not.
we're having a great time here as always, guys.
Thank you.
That's for sure.
He goes back. Anyway, 80swrestlingcon.com.
It's always a good time.
And Vicky talk.
Don't make it up to me. Oh, I'm having a good time.
Yeah, I
I'm sitting
am
on the
too.
sidelines watching, and I'm enjoying myself very much.
I'm enjoying myself too. I'm loving the questions and comments that are coming in. Kyle James says that Big John Studd and Ken Patera should have been tag champs. Look, Guys, when you ask the questions or comments, keep them going. That's great. We agree. They should have been tag team champions. But you already got me in trouble because you called it powerlifting. And it's obviously Olympic.
No more
lifting.
getting in trouble.
Yeah, so, let's take these comments out, before we put them. I'm just kidding. But don't forget, 80swrestlingcon.com. Spend $100 tonight on future signings. And there you go. All right, I think we're going to switch it out again.
Okay.
All right. And now, we're almost back.
Almost.
Almost. How was the break? Did everything go all right?
I think so.
A lot of people talking. So this was very interesting to me because later on we're going to have some action figures that people sent in. Here's my Ken Patera action figure from when I was 5 years old, but I had you working on top. That's why,
Yeah.
we're all scuffed up. And I actually booked a great angle where, Berto Sammartino was your opponent, and Bobby Heenan, with the Italian stereotypes, had you cut his fingers off. Because my dad likes Scorsese movies.
Oh yeah, he's missing a couple
and I
of
liked
fingers.
wrestling, so Ken Patera was like the mafia enforcer, and you were 5 or 6 years old. But that's how it works out. Cliff Smalling says Vicky is hot looking, so there you go, Vicky. You got a comment.
Is Vicky hot?
Kyle James said, well, yeah, Kyle James is blowing up. Vicky, we missed you, so there you go. So yeah, guys, keep those comments coming. Don't forget 80swrestlingcon.com.
They're just lonely.
You said that, not me, Mike. I'll let you figure that out because there's 2 on the back of that one. So next up we have Sly Fitzenko in Illinois. Sly Fitzenko. Doesn't say what he wants on there, just says Sly
Something tells me
Fitzenko.
that's
Oh, this one's to Sly. Alright, so this one's in blue. There we go. Are you okay today, Ian? I know. Once you just get back from vacation, you got your tropical shirt on. I think he's still there. Alright, 80swrestlingcon.com. A lot going on today, ladies and gentlemen.
We're all in this.
Did you mention Tyrus?
Yes, July 5th.
My brother Jack, he passed away a couple years ago now, but when Tyrus was first getting his start with Fox News, my brother said, you know that big guy on Fox News? I said, Tyrus? And he said, yeah. I said, no. He came away after me, like 20 years.
Oh, so when you saw him on Fox News and weren't aware that he was...
I just saw him on the Great Gutfeld show.
Yeah.
He's on the Great Gutfeld show every Saturday night. Yeah, how much that?
No, but I'm asking, were you aware that he was a wrestler?
No.
See, that's interesting.
No, I had no idea. I didn't know who he was. I
Yeah.
thought he was just a big football player or something.
Yeah, no, it was Brodus Clay, the Funkasaurus. But I think when they brought him in, he was originally like a monster heel, and they had him come on TV and just start destroying people, and then he was gone. I don't know if he got injured, but then when he came back, he had the dancing gimmick. Which
What?
they brought him in as like a big monster
Oh.
guy. But I feel like they do that a lot now too. They just take every big guy, and if you try to make them all monsters, then there's nothing special.
Yeah,
You know?
that's silly.
Annie Spivey, South Carolina, blue to Annie. Well, we are live today at the Wrestling Collector Store. Make sure you follow them on Instagram at the Wrestling Collector Store. I gotta tell you, this place is really impressive. Run by the people that power.
That he has.
Yeah.
The variety.
Yeah. All different eras.
Yeah, so all you wrestling fans out there, get your butts over here. I know it's out in the boondocks of New Jersey.
Stockholm.
Stockholm.
Yeah.
That's not Stockholm, Sweden now. Stockholm, New Jersey.
Well, what's interesting is I live in New Jersey. I'm about an hour and 40 minutes away in Point Pleasant, New Jersey, and I even thought this was the movies. So, but hey, you know what? It is a pro wrestling destination, so
Yeah.
come on out. 80swrestlingcon.com, Wrestling Collector Store. Next up, we have Victor. All right, so then we'll be waiting for that. Again, doing things on the fly here, guys. Thorsten, we already talked a little bit about that, so go to 80swrestlingcon.com the next couple days, And the answer to that will be up there. If your question was already asked, I will notice it and try to let you know. But don't forget, all these signings, all of them, are on 80swrestlingcon.com. So Victor Sonona in Woodland, Pennsylvania. Victor.
He wants me to write to Victor, my best friend. I don't even know the jabroni.
There you go. Yeah, it's kind of like maybe he's got like a Ken Patera action figure like I do, and he talks to it. You never know.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I was thinking.
There you go. You never know.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess, a question that I could ask you too, because it's always something that I ask the guys from that day, you know, from that era of when kayfabe existed. Were there some interactions with fans on the road? Let's say you're at a Waffle House or at a hotel, and obviously, as an Olympic lifter and a strongman, you could take care of yourself. But was there ever anybody that you were just like, wow, that guy weirded me the hell out?
No.
No, you never had any of that. Look at that. There you go.
No, people were pretty respectful.
That's great.
You know, so we had a few, more than a few assholes, you know, wandering around out there.
Yeah.
But nothing that we can control.
Bob Love says, good evening, Ryan and Ken. Hello, Bob. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget, if you're watching this, feel free to share the link out on your Facebook pages. Next up, we got Jim Anderson in Lodi, New Jersey. Just signature and Intercontinental Champ on that one. Don't forget, guys, Virtual Mania 2, Sunday, August 22nd. What an incredible lineup we have for that. Headlined by the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. We also have D'Lo Brown, which that will mean, after Mark Henry and D'Lo, we've had every member of the Nation of Domination except The Rock. So
Oh, he doesn't have a name here?
he just signature and Intercontinental Champ. So yes, get those orders in for Virtual Mania 2 Attitude. Got D'Lo Brown, Mark Henry, the Head Shrinkers. Definitely gonna want to check that out. Also, Billy Gunn will be joining us on that day as well. And if you spend $100 or more for any future signings, you're gonna get a free autograph photo of 3 ECW stars.
You know, I actually was the first IC champion. I have to correct that guy.
Okay.
It was like an elimination type deal. Pat Paterson supposedly went to South America,
Rio de Janeiro.
Rio de Janeiro, and beat their champion, and then they named it the Intercontinental Champion. I don't know if that actually happened or not.
I believe they finally admitted that it never did.
Yeah, but yeah, I didn't think it ever did. And so when I met Pat Paterson in the ring at Madison Square Garden, I snuffed his ass.
There you go. Yes, you did.
So here, first IC champ of all time.
There you go. Andrew Komet in North Dakota. Yeah, I actually watched a clip not that long ago, from the last couple days, and it was Vince McMahon, and he was holding the microphone, and the Grand Wizard was holding your title.
Yeah.
You were standing there flexing, and then they showed, I guess that's how they broke the news to the television audience, which was interesting because, it, you know, obviously they knew they were going to tell change. Then they showed the match, which, you know, that was very interesting to see that
Yeah.
took place.
Yeah, God, I don't know. He used to do. It all worked, you know. Okay. Does he want me to put third place, world's strongest man?
Yeah, I guess so.
God,
Yeah.
what a request.
Lots of great signings coming up, guys. 80swrestlingcon.com for the full list. Tommy just added some more information about that in the chat as well. Also, don't forget, $100 or more spent for the future signings, and you get a free autograph of 3 ECW stars.
I'm gonna make a comment on this one.
You can make as many comments as you
I
like.
know I can. People don't even know what's going on. I never trained for the World's Strongest Man contest. I'd been out of weightlifting for 5 years. And a guy by the name of, oh God, Harold Conley. He had won the hammer throw in the 56 Olympic Games down in Melbourne, Australia. I knew him and his wife. And he was an English teacher out in Southern California at the time. And he got this idea of putting together the world's strongest man contest. First person he calls, Ken Patera. He says, Ken, and he tells me the format and everything. I said, well, one thing, Harold, I haven't lifted heavy weights in almost 5 years. I said, what, did you expect me to win? I said, you know, you got Bruce Wilhelm in there. And, he's probably the only one that I couldn't have beat. Because he had just got out of the Olympic Games like 6-7 months prior to that.
And he was a friend of yours.
Yeah, we were sure.
Yeah, we were just talking about Madison Square Garden, that's why.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'd been friends for years and years. And so anyway, I called Bruce. I said, has Harold Conley called you yet? He said, no, about what? And I said, well, he put together this world's strongest men contest, and I told him he should contact you. I gave him your phone number. It was just a couple days later. Harold did call him like a couple days after I had called Bruce. So I'm wrestling Bobby Backlund in the Boston Garden. Place was completely sold out. Anyway, we had a lumberjack match. So if you go out of the ring, then there's the lumberjacks around the outside to throw you back in. So anyway, a totally freak accident. Bobby throws me over the top rope. I hook the top rope, and I hit my hip on the apron. Oh, just knocked my lower back completely out of alignment. I mean, God. Anyway, I get back in the ring. I think we went about 30 minutes after that. And boy, when I cooled down the next day, I couldn't even get out of bed.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And here now, it's World's Strongest Man contest in 3 weeks.
Oh.
Well, hell, I couldn't even stand up straight. So I never even trained for it. So when we get out to Universal Studios there in North Hollywood, California to do this big production, they had 10 events. I was only able to do 5 of them. I couldn't do well, I went through the motions of the car lift, the squat, the refrigerator run. I was right back, right behind Franco Colombo in that refrigerator run. He takes off and dislocates his knee right off the bat. So he's sitting there dangling underneath this big refrigerator, and it took like an hour for the paramedics to get there to give him any medical assistance, and his knee was completely out.
Oh.
And he won a $500,000 judgment on that.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So anyway, when I saw that, now I'm up next, so we delayed it for about an hour or so. I put that refrigerator on my back and I didn't take off. I just waddled down. I said, I'm not gonna blow my knees out, you know.
The fact that you can place third without training is really remarkable.
Yeah, so when it was all said and done, I won a couple of events and placed second, third, or something like that. The tram pole, the whole thing, it was the first year they had ever done that. The format was perfect, but the parking lot that they held it in was not perfect. It had holes in it, and you know, that they had 2 trams. Well, if you're lucky, you draw the tram that was on level ground. Well, I drew the same tram that Franco had drawn the day prior to him blowing his knee out. So I take off, you know, I get the tram. It's like 6,000-7,000 pound tram. I get it going, you know, and I cross the finish line. Franco couldn't even pull it out of the.
Yeah, well, and it sounds like a lot of, you got injured, so you had a reason
Yeah.
to not be able to train, but for the event organizers to not make sure that at least the parking lot was adjusted.
Yeah.
I always say, if you're going to run an event, preparation is key. That's what I always
Yes,
say.
preparation of the.
Absolutely.
I mean, you think.
Especially when people's safety is on the line.
Yeah, you think the NBA would have a dunk contest during the All-Star game on a high school gymnasium?
No, definitely not.
Where the floor was uneven and holes in it?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Mike Beeman in Connecticut is up next. He wants in blue, just the signature, along with Rest in Peace Pedro. Of course, it's a picture of Ken Patera
Yeah.
playing an armbar on the late, great Pedro Morales.
Yeah.
80swrestlingcon.com. Get those orders in for Mr. Ken Patera, as well as all of the upcoming signings that we have. They're all available on the list at 80swrestlingcon.com. I'm going to be plugging them as we go along, but don't forget Virtual Mania 2 is coming up August 22nd. You can get those orders in right now, starting tonight at 80swrestlingcon.com.
Pedro's a good guy.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but wonderful things
Yeah.
about him.
He just lived down the street here in
Woodbridge.
Yeah, Woodbridge.
Real close
New
by.
Jersey, Yeah.
This doesn't have a name on it, so. Oh, you said that. You warned me. Alright, just signature and WWF IC champ. I'm seeing some comments about internet, guys. I opened the show and we also talked about it in the pre-show. There is a power outage, or a Wi-Fi outage, I should say, in the area that we're in. So, no, it does not have anything to do with the store. It is an outage in the area, just to clarify that. So we're doing the best that we can, doing this on the fly. Next up, we got Bill Dismaris in Warwick, Rhode Island. Blue to Bill.
I thought we just did one for him.
Yeah, sometimes they, some people order multiple pictures. They'll order.
Yeah.
Rich Lopez asks, do you have any memories of the Warwick Musical Theater or the Providence Civic Center?
Yeah. The Civic Center, I wrestled Hercules Hernandez there, I think, in a chain match. And then there was what was that place in Warwick? Richie's?
Richie's. Rich Lopez asked the question, but Rich Lopez, if there's a Richie's in Warwick, let us know.
Yeah. Oh, that building burnt down
Okay.
years ago. I mean, they had all the big Hollywood entertainers, Frank Sinatra
Yeah.
performed there, but everybody did.
When you were going around back in those days, I mean, because everybody always talks about the infamous WWF travel schedule, was there any time to get to take in things on the road, or was it just basically next town, and...
Next town,
Yeah.
and next town.
Nah.
No, we didn't have any time to do anything. Of course, we, try to get to the gym in the early afternoon and then have a decent meal and then get to the arena and then get to after the show, get to the nearest bar that had cold beer.
Yeah. Priorities.
Absolutely, that was the biggest priority.
Angie Gugliotta in Piscataway, New Jersey. Blue to Angie. '80swrestlingcon.com. Get those orders in for Mr. Patera. Also, don't forget about all the upcoming signings that we have. We just announced the Spooktacular Virtual Mania October. That's going to be with Gangrel and the Boogeyman. So make sure you go check it out. 80swrestlingcon.com, Virtual Mania, all the upcoming signings. Okay, Bill, maybe you didn't order 2 picks, only 1. We thought that maybe you did. The name sounded familiar. I'm sorry. Up next, Abdulaziz in Kuwait City. I'm not making that up. We have a viewer from Kuwait, Abdulaziz. He probably remembers when you were Sheikh Lawrence of Arabia. So here we go to Abdul Aziz or Aziz. I can't pronounce very well, so
It's probably Aziz.
That's pretty close, I think.
all right, I'll take it. 80swrestlingcon.com. Get those orders in. Don't forget we are broadcasting live today. I said tonight. That's like a combination of today and tonight. We're broadcasting live right now from the Wrestling Collector Superstore. So make sure you give them a follow. Check it out. This is such a cool store. So much great stuff. A lot of different t-shirts and action figures and toys that I never even knew existed from all different types of eras can be found here at the Wrestling Collector Store. So make sure you give them a follow on your various social media platforms. Alright, next up we got our regular friend Emil Menard. To Emil in blue. To Emil.
At first I saw that, I thought that was Emily. My youngest daughter's name is
Oh,
Emily.
okay.
Yeah.
Thorsten Fritz asks, does Ken still get royalties from the WWE for the Ken Patera story videotape that they published? It can still be watched on the WWE Network, the Coliseum video section.
I'm not really embarrassed about it, but you know how much money I made off of that? About $300.
Really?
Yeah, they don't pay you. They might pay the guys better now after there's so many lawsuits against the WWF over the years.
But even back then, I mean, it had to have sold. I mean, you're
Yeah.
talking $300 total.
Yeah.
Wow. I thought you guys.
Yeah, that's my pension and my retirement fund.
Wow.
$300.
Yeah, no, that's a shame. Because I've seen in interviews in the past that you've done that you weren't happy with how that turned out. So that's really unfortunate. To one, not get paid, and then to not be finished. You know, to be happy with the finished product. Eric Lewis in Missouri, blue just signature.
Well, some of the guys did sue McMahon. Jimmy Brunzell and Brian Blair sued him. And I sold a hell of a lot more merchandise than those two guys ever did, and I think they got a settlement of $75,000 each. I think.
Yeah. You know,
So that gives you an idea how bad they were screwing us.
Well, that's why I'm very interested in, you always hear, again, past shoot interviews from different guys, they would talk about the payouts from pay-per-views and how it was structured, and, different people had different beliefs on how they thought that the payouts were given, but now I say to myself with the network, and it being a flat subscription fee, like, how do these guys get their payouts now? Like, it's gotta be very different.
Yeah, you would think. I would imagine the top 10 or 12 guys make millions, and the bottom 200 don't make shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, they probably just make $400 or $500 a week,
yeah.
probably.
Next up, we got Leslie DeRocco in New York. Just signature and WWF Intercontinental Champion. 80swrestlingcon.com. Check out all the upcoming signings that we have.
You know, people don't realize that when I was wrestling back in the 70s and even into the early 80s, sometimes ringside tickets were like $10. You know, general admission and kids tickets were still like $4 or $5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, now they're, I don't even know what the ticket prices are because I've never gone to a wrestling match.
I haven't been in many, many years, but I'm sure that they're up there, especially ringside. I read about it.
Yeah, well, there's several $100s.
Bare minimum.
But and then they have the merchandising royalties, they have the TV royalties, they have all kinds of royalties now.
Yeah.
Where back when I was wrestling, we didn't get shit. You know, we were like, movie stars that never got paid. The movie stars never got paid either.
When you were talking about the merchandising, so back then, did you have to come up with your own merchandise, or was it their idea?
Yeah. Yeah, like Wahoo McDaniel, I was real good friends with Wahoo, and he had his own t-shirts printed up, his own pictures, you know, being a legitimate Indian, he had beads made up, he had all that stuff.
Well, that was the territory that I'm talking like with Vince McMahon in those days, where did you have to make your own merchandise, or did they?
No, they made everything, but
Yeah.
they controlled everything. You don't know what the hell they were selling.
Exactly. Yeah, that's got to be awkward too if it's something, especially someone like you, because you were using your real name. You weren't a gimmick.
Yeah.
You were an Olympian. So
Yeah.
it would have been nice if they had, said, "Hey, you know what's your idea on this T-shirt?"
They never. They make T-shirt. They made this. Made that, like the doll. They never
Wow.
asked me about anything.
Matt Stevens says, "This is awesome. Thank you, Ken, for taking the time to sign for us. Thank you, Vicky, for being a great pre-show host. Thank you, Ron, as always, for being a great entertaining host. Thank you, Tommy, again, for all you do and making all of this possible for us. Well, thank you, Matt. It's very kind of you. Thank you for the nice words. 80swrestlingcon.com. If you're watching in the chat, please feel free to share this chat on Facebook. If you're watching live on WrestleZone.com, hello to you as well. But if you're on Facebook, share the chat, spread the word." Next up, we got Colt Campbell in Uniontown, Pennsylvania. Blue 2 Colts.
Yeah, people don't understand. Like when my brothers were playing in the NFL, I think after they had retired, they came out with those little baseball cards. They didn't get any money. Nothing.
Yeah, it's definitely very tragic. We hear that, like you had mentioned, the television and movie stars, same thing. A lot of music stars, especially from that era, same exact thing.
It didn't make anything. Their managers and promoters made all the money.
While he's signing that, go to 80swrestlingcon.com, get those orders in, check out all the upcoming signings. Next up, we have Dustin Fedak in San Diego, California. Oh, black for that one. I'm gonna have Vicky take my place for a second. I'll be right back. I'll leave mine right there.
Alright, Ryan's taking a quick potty break. Nature calls.
Or,
There's something away. He's like, oh,
Well,
here.
Hey Ken,
you're more than welcome. Hey, how you doing?
good, good. So I made it.
Yeah, right, yeah. I didn't even see you come in. Did you just get in?
I just walked in.
Okay.
Yeah. Just walked
He did a little sneak around.
in. Everybody good?
So, are we enjoying ourselves tonight?
We're having a
It
ball.
seems that way. I'm having a ball on the side, so I gotta say. And as you can see, our 80s wrestling fans are very appreciative of your time, as we are as well. So we thank you again for being here.
Well, I really enjoy these.
Yeah.
I did a couple back in December and November, and I did one out in Amityville about 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
So I've been back. Like I live in Minnesota, they don't even know what these are. You have to come back east or go out to California to
Yeah.
make any money.
no, jeez.
Yeah.
Well, we have people from all over, so. Alright, well, I'm gonna move on with another one here.
Okay.
Black, just signature. WWF Strongman. And that is from Mike Newbert in Canada. See, so we got them all over the place.
Yeah.
Mike Newbert.
Okay.
And I grace you with my presence, sir, and I'm going to move so that Ryan can take over again.
thank you.
You're leaving already?
Yeah.
Jesus. I thought I was gonna be able to get a few smooches off you anyway.
Now we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. That's all you girls ever talk with. That's all you ever say. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
You were up there smooching with my brother. 80swrestlingcon.com. Get those orders in. We're going to be here with Mr. Patera for about another hour, I believe. I don't even know what time it is anymore. We're doing this on the fly. I don't have a clock.
8:22.
It could be friggin' midnight for all I know. We got another picture for Emile Menard, but time flies when you're having fun. And
Yes, that's what they've always said.
And I'm having a great time with Mr. Patera.
Vicky is fire.
I'm sorry.
From one of my childhood funny stories. What did the moron say when he threw the clock out the window?
Vicky, what'd you say when you threw the clock out the window? Oh, sorry, no. I don't
Fitting,
know.
fitting, fitting.
Time flies.
Oh, all right. I've set myself up for that one.
I deserve that one.
Uh,
I deserve that one.
I'm just playing with you. Jesse Knight wants to know, what was it like wrestling Bruiser Brody? Now, here's the thing. I would imagine a guy like Bruiser Brody, you always hear these wild stories about him coming down, just beating the crap out of everybody. When he's in there with a guy like you, that could probably just break his ribs with a bear hug, he's probably going to calm down a little bit, right? He's going to approach the match differently, I would think.
Well, I helped train Bruiser Brody into the business.
Oh, see, now that I did not know.
Yeah, I was wrestling down in out of Dallas territory, down there in Texas, you know, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio. And there was this young guy trying to break into the wrestling business. His name was Frank Goodish. And he was a sports writer, believe it or not. And that's what he was doing for a living. And he was really into lifting heavy weights, you know, big guy. So the promoters down there asked me if I would ride around with Bruiser for a couple weeks, or he could ride around with me. And prior to the matches, we'd get to the buildings a few hours earlier than normal. And, you know, I'd get in the ring with him, we'd work out, go through all the wrestling moves, and then, you know, riding together for like, shit, I think it was about a month actually. We got to be real good friends. As a matter of fact, his grandmother lived in San Antonio, and he asked me to stay at his grandmother's house. She was in the hospital, and he didn't want anybody breaking into it. So I said, yeah, well, I go through San Antonio every Wednesday. And so I stayed there. I kept an eye on everything. And so when we eventually wrestled, a few years after that, you know, it's like an old homecoming deal. God, great that you made the business. Now, he broke in with Stan.
Stan Hansen, who we just had a couple weeks ago, yeah?
Yeah, with Stan. And I had Stan's first match after he got broke in Fort Worth, Texas at the old stockyards. That was interesting.
I can imagine so, just hearing the name of the venue. Next up, we got Mike Taras in Pennsylvania. Black to Mike. Guys, we're going to hold off on the questions for a little bit just to catch up. But if you have any comments that don't require any answers or any memories, please feel free to drop them in the chat. I will read them aloud. But no more questions for right now. We'll let you know when we're going to be opening things back up. We are live tonight from the Wrestling Collector Superstore. So check that out. Follow The Wrestling Collector on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at Ryan Marr Comedy, Ryan M-A-H-E-R Comedy. Don't forget to follow, of course, at 80s Wrestling. But then again, if you're watching this, chances are that you probably are. Next up, we got Mike from Howell in black. Mike from Howell. Kyle James, Vicky is fire. There you go. Good, you can drive her home later. 80swrestlingcon.com. Because I don't think I am anymore. 80swrestlingcon.com. So many great signings coming up. We got another one for Jumpin' Jay, the co-host of the 80s Wrestling Podcast. Which, again, if you haven't had a chance to listen, go to your favorite podcast platform, check it out. All the episodes are very entertaining, but of course this man Sitting to my left, Mr. Patera was a guest on the most recent episode, so go check that out. A lot of great stuff, a lot of questions that are going to be asked tonight that we may not get to, might have been discussed on that podcast, so go give it a shot. Next up, we got Terry Mathis in New York. Wants just signature and strongman.
Didn't I do a podcast yesterday with you guys?
That wasn't with me. That was with Jay and Tommy. I don't know if that was yesterday or no. It was a couple days ago. Maybe you did another one yesterday with somebody else.
Yeah.
So everyone's got a podcast now.
And then most of them are in New Jersey.
We're very bored up here. We gotta.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get those orders in for Mr. Patera. Don't forget, if you spend $100 on any of the upcoming signings, we're going to send you an autograph with 3 ECW superstars, or it's actually 3 autographs from superstars. Whichever. You can figure it out. 80swrestlingcon.com. Go check it out. Get those orders in for Virtual Mania 2, Sunday, August 22nd. All right, next up we got Doug Harvey in Galesburg, Illinois. How you doing, Doug? Black to Doug, right there. All right, we're cooking with gas, moving along. Next up, we got Matt Stevens in Taylors, South Carolina. Matt Stevens in Taylors, South Carolina.
Matt.
Just because we're not taking questions right at this moment while we catch up, if you have any memories you'd like to share, please feel free to drop them in the chat. I will read them aloud. Also, if you want to share the chat with anybody on your Facebook feed, just click that share button. Alright, next up we got Jeremy Silowski in Painesville, Ohio. Black to Jeremy. I really missed my calling. If it was 1995, I could be on QVC right now. But I was born too late in life. Kyle James says, I've been to the store 5 times. Yeah, it's a great store. This is my first time here. Definitely looking forward to coming back on a day when I can really browse around. I was trying to before, and then I got ambushed by the Vicious Vicky pre-show, so I couldn't really look around when I had to be on. Next up, from the UK, Gary McCormick.
You can tell everybody that you're a day late and $1 short.
There you go. It's most of my life, Mr. Patera. Most of my life. 80swrestlingcon.com. Here with Ken Patera until about 10 o'clock, I do believe. They're ready? Can you get the info? Thank you, catering manager Ian Levy. He's not just the catering manager, he does a little bit of everything. Alright, William D. Michelle in Easton, Pennsylvania. I just figured if we had it.
I know. It's all good.
Right. Alright, more UK. They must be all be coming in at once. Ben Globe from the United Kingdom. Alright, next up we got just the signature here for Ryan Evans. Ryan Evans.
Let's see, want me to spell his whole name out?
Nah, you just gotta put just your signature. That's
I'll
it.
just sing it.
Just signature on that one. I like that guy. He made it nice and simple and to the point.
Yeah. You made it so simple, it confused me.
Yeah, well, after writing a couple novels, it just, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, people over the years, last 30 years since I retired from wrestling. Patera, why don't you write a book? You know, everybody wants to see you write a book that everybody knows that you're gonna have great stories and everything. Guess what? It should be published by midsummer.
Oh, look, all right, that's good.
Yeah,
What's it called? We have a title for it?
win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat.
I like it. I like that very much. To Michael Blumenberg. That's great. I'm really happy to hear that because I feel like the guys from your era really do have the best stories to tell because you lived it 24/7.
We didn't have any choice.
That's what I mean.
We didn't make any money. Until later.
Yeah.
You know.
No, but I mean, just again, that was the era.
Yeah,
where-
from 1980 on, I did very well. But yeah, nothing like they're doing now. I
Yeah.
mean, we didn't have the big networks and the merchandise and all
Yeah.
that stuff. You know, that all came as my career was winding down.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just talking about, I've always been interested in the stories, and when I say stories, I don't really care for locker room gossip or anything of that nature, but I like hearing about what you guys had to do and endure while on the road in order to protect kayfabe and things of that nature.
Yeah, well, things were different back in those days, you know.
No doubt.
We had to protect the business and, that's all there was to it. And then came when McMahon changed the whole venue from WWF to WWE and started calling it sports entertainment. That's when it really changed. And,
Jesse Rocha,
like I tell people, I said, well, McMahon, and you know, he owns everything. I said it's his prerogative to do whatever he wants with it. You know, I had no problem with that. If he wants to call it entertainment, fine. And then I started. You know, I said I have a couple brothers that played in the NFL. And I was in the Olympic Games and Pan American Games and pro wrestling. I did all kinds of shit. Track and field, I was a shot putter, discus thrower. So anyway, somebody wants to watch an athletic event. They want to be entertained. So it is. All sports is entertainment. And so you better give it your best and don't disappoint the people that came to watch the events.
very, very true.
Yeah.
80swrestlingcon.com. Don't forget to spend $100 on any of the upcoming orders. Get yourself an autograph from 3 ECW stars. The full list of signings are available on the website, as well as the information on how you can take part in ordering for Virtual Mania 2 Attitude. So 80swrestlingcon.com. If you're in the chat, you can start opening up a little bit to questions, but again, we're going to take it as we go, so don't get offended if you don't get your question answered. Next up, we got another one, this one in red for Emil Menard. To Emil, and there you go with your red right there. God bless you. Coming to you live tonight from the Wrestling Collector store. Follow along on Instagram at the Wrestling Collector. Looks like we're starting to move into the merchandise in just a little bit.
No, this is your piece.
Oh, it is? Okay.
But I have the merchandise stuff over here.
Let's put that, when we're doing the auction, we'll go to that. Okay, sounds good. Adam Pop. Adam Pop in Michigan City, Indiana. Adam Pop is up next to Adam. That wasn't that.
Okay.
No, it wasn't that. 80swrestlingcon.com. Again, if you're just joining us, so a couple comments in the chat. We are doing this on the fly tonight. Town-wide Wi-Fi outage. What happened was Mr. Patera landed. He went to the Verizon Center. He squeezed the giant router and screwed everything up. So, still the world's strongest man. Robert Love in Alameda, California. That's in green. He wants to Robert, Full, Nelson, and Master. Michael's got a case of the sillies.
That was a comment.
Oh, what I missed?
Oh, but
Let me scroll up. It's going fast.
which guy is he again? Ken.
Yeah, I'm not.
Who's
Thank
the guy
you.
in the green shirt?
Emil Menard, I enjoy Ken a lot. He
Oh, yeah.
speaks from the mind. There you go. So many great pictures, taking a trip down memory lane. Lots of great different options for Ken Patera as well as all of our signings. So when you go to the website, check everything out. 80swrestlingcon.com. Here we go, full Nelson Master. Up next we got Pete D'Angelo in New York. Still with that green. He wants just signature and WWF IC champion. The second Intercontinental champion, but technically the first, as we were corrected
That's right.
earlier.
Like a lot of people do this, a lot of people. Well, you're looking at the guy that's often imitated, but never duplicated. As you can testify to that.
I can definitely.
A lot of guys, yeah. Full Nelson, it's not a swinging full Nelson like Ken Patera did.
There you go.
I actually invented that.
The swinging full Nelson, not the what's it called now? The Hurt Locker? No, what is Bobby Lashley called it? The Hurt Business? Hurt Locker. That was a great movie. By the way.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, if you want to check that out. I had Hurt Locker on the brain, and then there was the Masters Lock. That's what. See, I took Hurt and Lock, put them together.
Yeah.
Hurt Locker, great film.
Unbelievable. You're a genius.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm also a powerlifter, not an Olympic lifter. I'm just saying. I'm learning so much tonight. It's just
No,
it's
I know.
brain overload. is what
Yeah.
it is, folks.
Scary.
Next up, we got Richard Lopez in East Providence, Rhode Island. Silver this time. Silver to Richard. Alright. We are starting to move on to some of the send-ins. And, wow, now this is wild. Because this is the August 1987 World Wrestling Federation magazine. On the cover, we have Ken Patera, and on the back, we have an advertisement for Brute Cologne. So there you go, the essence of a man, Brute Cologne. Now, ironically, with my Ken Patera action figure, I didn't have a championship belt, so I used to take the Brute logo and make a championship belt out of that. So I may have been onto something here. But there you go, the WWF magazine from August of 1987.
I had a friend, I think he was originally from Indiana, but he was an Olympic lifter. His name was Roger, God, I can't think of his last name. Anyway, he was a chemist,
Okay.
and he worked and helped develop Brute.
Oh, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
So there you go, you're on the front, Brute's
Yeah.
on the back.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I had my, one of my wives, I was never married to multiple wives, but I
That's why I
had
started laughing when you said
I know, I can see it.
One of my wives.
I gotta straighten your ass out right now. So, Roger, his wife's name is Sylvia,
Okay.
and they lived right across the street from Gramercy Park.
Okay.
So they invited us up for Christmas, for a big Christmas party. So they had a beautiful apartment, and so we're over there. So one of the girls that worked in the office for Brute, she says, "Mr. Patera, I want you to pick me up and press me over your head." I mean, she was just plowed.
Yeah.
I said, "Well, God, can you stabilize yourself? I can do whatever you want me to do."
Oh boy.
And so there had to be 25, 30 people there, in this big apartment. And so I said, "Okay." So I show her how to, make her body rigid and stuff, but she was so messed up. So anyway, I pick her up and press her over my head.
Uh-oh.
And then she started giggling. And, she just turned into spaghetti.
Oh, that's
I
not
dropped her on the floor.
Uh-oh.
And she said, I'm all right, you know, don't worry about me. I said, God. That's the last time I ever tried to press a drunk person.
And probably the last time you were invited to an apartment in Gramercy Park.
No,
He didn't hold it against you.
No.
All right, Ryan Martinez in Butler, New Jersey. This is his magazine. He wants just the signature in blue. I guess you could choose where you'd like to sign on the WWF magazine. We have a couple of these coming up. And this is one of the early WWF magazines, August 1987. Now, what do? Do they tell you? Do they come up to you and say, all right, you're going to be on the cover of the magazine next month, go in for a photo shoot? Or is it just like they take a photo and then next thing you know, you're on the cover of the magazine?
Yeah.
That's literally how it
Yeah, I'm sure it's changed now, but back in those days, we didn't have any control over our images or even our name, really. Well, I had some over my name because that was my name.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't the crusher, the bruiser, something like that.
Jonathan Golembuski in Greenfield, Wisconsin. He's got another August 1987 WWF magazine. He wants the signature in just black for that one. Yeah, for the 8x10s, we could always do a do-over. When it's people's stuff that they send in, I'm extra careful to make sure that we get what they asked for. 80swrestlingcon.com. Feel free to share this link on Facebook if you're watching on WrestleZone.com. Hello to you guys. This one's Steve Maudlin. This one's in blue. He wants your signature and Olympic Strongman in blue for that one. We will have an auction coming up, a bunch of cool items. That will be coming up in just a little bit.
Or Randy Hammerlink.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have black, we have silver, and blue.
Great stuff. Where's he from again? Is he from the UK? I was from the UK. Is it on there? No. Maybe he's from Canada, because I see there's a lot of Canadian stuff here. He always sends in some really cool stuff.
Minnesota.
He's from Minnesota.
He's
All
from
right.
Minnesota.
Minnesota's representing tonight for the hometown boy.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of
Ken Patera, Olympic Strongman, that is going out. So now this is all from one gentleman named Andy Hammerlink. We'll hand this stuff off. He's from Minnesota. These are some personal pictures that he took, and I believe, yes, that's you with Hulk Hogan. And he wants in silver, just your signature, I guess somewhere on that. And here, I guess this is the Sheik Lawrence of Arabia days.
Oh my God!
So,
You know, the Sheik, Lawrence of Arabia, was a homosexual. And he was from England. And I thought it was going to be kind of comical.
yeah.
And so people say, nobody knew that he was a gay. Yeah, but he was a hell of a leader. You know, he went over there to Arabia and cleaned that whole rat's nest up.
There you go.
Yeah, but nobody knows it. There are a few people
Yeah.
that
Caught on.
that are historians or have any interest in it, you know.
That was you and, well, Adnan Al-Casey was your manager, right? Who later went on to be General Adnan with Sergeant Slaughter.
He grew up in Baghdad.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, where'd he grow up? North Beach, San Francisco? I said, no, he's a legitimate Christian. His father was a minister in Baghdad, Iraq.
Yeah, no, he was, I worked with him on the Roast of Iron Sheik about 12 years ago, and very, very interesting man.
Well, are we talking about the Iron Sheik?
No, I'm talking about Adnan.
Adnan,
I
yeah.
met him at the Roast of Iron Sheik.
I got you.
Iron Sheik's definitely an interesting man, too.
Yeah, he grew up over in Iran.
Yeah. Bodyguard to the Shah, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Andy Hammerlink sent in a lot of really cool personal memorabilia. That's what you can do when you go to 80swrestlingcon.com. Find out how you can ship your memorabilia out for any of these future signings. You ship it out, we make sure that it gets signed for you, and then we send it right back out. It's as simple as that. 80swrestlingcon.com for more information. We're going to keep going on with Andy Hammerlink stuff right here. This is Wrestling All-Stars trading card. And it's got Mr. Ken Patera, Portland, Oregon on the back. This is black, his signature right there.
Brunzel, kid by the name of Bob Bruggers, and Cosgrove Clear, the Iron Sheik. So Iron Sheik was about 180 pounds, and that was the weight class that he wrestled as an amateur. And a lot of people don't understand, he was actually in the 68 Olympic Games down in Mexico City for Iran. So I says, Cosgrove, after training camp, these training camps that we went through for Verganian,
Oh, I've heard they were brutal.
oh yeah, 6 hours,
Yeah.
non-stop, 5-6 days a week for 3 months. So I said, I always ask Cosgrove, the Iron Sheik. I said, Cosgrove, why don't you go to the bar with us tonight? No, Kenny, you know, call me Kenny. And he didn't speak very good English back in those days. This is back in 1972.
Or now.
Or not, right? Anyway, I says, what do you do for fun? You date girls and have a few beers once in a while? You smoke or anything like that? No. So I said, okay, let's get this straight. You don't drink alcohol. You don't smoke cigarettes. You don't smoke dope. You don't pop pills. You don't chase any women. I said, what the hell do you do? Well, Kenny, I go home at night, you know, and this and that, you know. I'm not going to get into the whole thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, after we get out of training camp and a few months later, you know, we all kind of went our own way. And I ran into the Iron Sheik about 3 or 4 years later.
I do it all, A to Z.
Anyway, it says, Cosgrove, I've heard bad reports on you. You have a bad report card. Really kidding? He said, why is it bad? I said, well, it's not straight F. I says, there's a D in there. But when I first met you, before we started Vergania's training camp in Minnesota, you didn't smoke, you didn't drink, you didn't do drugs, you didn't chase women. And this report I got says that you do all that stuff now. You chase women, you smoke,
He's doing it all, A to Z.
you drinking, everything. He says, yes. I says, you are now Americanized.
There you go. He's one of the boys.
Yeah, you're one of the boys now. You're totally Americanized.
There you go.
And he started laughing. He says, oh, I thought it was bad.
That's funny. That's funny. Too funny. 80swrestlingcon.com. Get your orders in. Just the signature in black on that one. Andy Hammerly, thank you for sending some of this great stuff in. Next up, we got from Andy as well, Canadian Championship Wrestling. This looks like a program, and this is in blue. He wants just the signature in blue for that one. It's right there.
That looks like some fan club put together.
Yeah, right? The Canadian Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
I had a couple girls from New York. They had formed a Ken Patera fan club.
The Rosati sisters?
No. No.
Remember the Rosati
There's
sisters?
Eleanor Finley and
Oh, wow.
Georgianne.
Metropolis.
Yeah, Macropolis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Acropolis.
God rest her soul, she passed away a few
Yeah,
years ago.
she passed away a few years ago. Really nice girls.
She was very active up until she passed away with fan
Yeah.
clubs and whatnot.
Yeah. And blue. And is that the Baron von Raschka?
Looks like it.
Oh.
80swrestlingcon.com. Going to be here with Mr. Patera for some more time, but you also have all those upcoming signings. Right now we're going through some personal memorabilia that was sent in by fans. Find out how you can send in your stuff by going to the 80swrestlingcon.com website. Also checking out all the upcoming signings. We're going to be back next week with Eric Rowan and Darren Young. That's going to be next Monday night. We'll be back in our original location next Monday. So check that out. What's that? What? No, say it. If you have something you'd like to share with the class. Andy Hammerling is up next. Just signature. I mean, people send signs to me like I know what's going on while I'm trying to do this.
Open it to the middle.
Open it to the middle.
That's
Okay.
where Ken's picture is.
Oh, all right. There you go. Blue, just signature. There you go.
You know, the Baron von Raschke. I talked to him a couple days ago, and once again, he reiterated, said, Kent, you can use my claw whenever is needed. Ah!
There you go.
So don't mess around.
Our catering manager Ian Levy was saying before that the claw ain't shit. And,
Oh yeah?
that's what he was saying. And then he said, if I have to hear Ken talk about that goddamn swinging full Nelson, so,
Well, we're gonna talk about that goddamn claw. Yeah, the Baron, he only lives 15 minutes from
oh, that's great.
us. He lives 15 minutes south. Jimmy Brunzell lives 15 minutes north of me.
I only met Jim Brunzell once, also at the Chic Roast, and he was just a wonderful, wonderful guy. So it was very nice to meet him.
Yeah.
Joe Schlechter in New Jersey. Joe Schlechter in black.
Yeah, he's friends with Bruce Springsteen, you know.
Yeah, that's what you were saying before. That's very interesting. Yeah.
Which has me a little concerned.
Yeah, I'm not too big of a Bruce fan myself. I'm more of a Bon Jovi guy.
There you go.
Starting to move into some of the personal photos again, some of the action figures and whatnot. 80swrestlingcon.com. Great stuff. Next up, we got Red Brule. Red Brule in Middletown, New York. He wants silver to red RBDD.
Yeah, the Iron Sheik, Khosrow Vasiri from Iran. He is totally Americanized now.
Yeah, I've done quite a bit with Sheik over the years on different independent shows and stuff, and it's just always, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And I love him for it.
Yeah, he's a character.
And that's what makes life interesting.
When I was running 35, 40 independent shows a year back in the 90s, up there in the Midwest, I'd have him come in once in a while. I brought in King Kong Bundy, and I brought everybody in.
Yeah.
At one time or another, Jimmy Snook, everybody. And we always had a good show, but when the Sheik showed up, I'd have him do some promos and stuff, you know. And
Yeah.
he'd get totally out of control. He'd have a case of Heineken beer with him at all times.
Yeah, he's definitely an interesting one to say the least. Next up, we have a WWE trading card at WWF. Sean Martin, silver to Sean, WWF Strongman. So I guess you could put that somewhere on that.
Yeah, people ask me how the WWE was when I was there. I said, well, I was never in the WWE. I was in the WWF.
Indeed. And the WWF.
Yeah,
Why?
WWW. Right.
Wrestling Federation. Don't forget, guys, spend $100 on the upcoming signings. Get yourself a 3 autograph ECW Superstar set. They're saying different every time. Mix it up, you know?
Yeah, when people request this much to be put on these little cards.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an art to try to figure it out. If you have any memories of Mr. Ken Patera, please feel free to leave them in the chat. Any questions as well? I'll try to get to as many as I can. Next up, we got Don Simmons. This looks like it's a personal photo of, I would imagine, Don. And yourself, blue
Yeah.
to Don. Blue for you.
just like Jimmy Brunzell.
He does look like Jim Brunzell now that you mentioned it. Yeah. Like a cross between Jim Brunzell and Tito Santana almost. I see
Yeah.
a little bump from there. Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
Tito sent me something on my email today. His birthday was yesterday?
Oh, Tito?
Tito.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Mr. Ten.
So I
Mr. Tito
texted him
Santana.
back, I says, are you still 20 and 29?
Yeah, no, he's another guy. Very, very good shape. You'd never be able to.
Is he still teaching school out here in New Jersey?
Yes.
Phys ed, right?
Yeah.
Is he? Yeah.
No, not the
Spanish.
Spanish.
He teaches Spanish.
Didn't he used to teach phys ed?
No, he's the basketball coach of the high school team.
Well, the funny thing about it, he never learned how to speak Spanish.
I don't know. Maybe because he was a bullfighter, I just assumed Spanish. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you for the input, though. I appreciate that. Freaked me out a little.
I knew like 20-some years ago he was a school teacher.
I could have sworn, well, he told me phys ed one time. Maybe I'm confusing him for somebody else, like you said, George Steele. Alright, here we have a program. It's not a program, it's a card sheet actually. World Wrestling Federation. This was a card at the Brendan Byrne Arena, East Rutherford, New Jersey. Monday, November 16th, 1987. And you wrestled Axe from Demolition.
Oh my
One match. Oh, no. I'm sorry. They didn't put Demolition. It was Ken Patera and Billy Jack Haynes against Axe and Smash. They didn't put
yeah.
Demolition. That makes better sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say in '87, I don't
Yeah.
recall ever wrestling those guys in a single match.
So this is Bill Nolan in Ben Salem, Pennsylvania, and he wants black, just signature. I guess find somewhere on there for it. My chat hasn't moved in minutes, so is it ongoing?
Oh, yeah, people are asking.
Oh, see, so my chat's just not moving, so I don't know if that's the internet for me.
What's the last thing you see?
How is Vicky is fire.
Maybe close it out and open it.
Hold on.
People want to know.
Yeah, again, guys, we're dealing with a Wi-Fi shortage, so please don't think I'm ignoring you. You may have noticed that I said keep those questions and comments coming, but I just realized maybe my chat isn't working. So, I just see one from RJ Evans. Not talking about that, sorry. Jody Miller, hey Ken, looking good. Dennis Trentler, thoughts on the Honky Tonk Man? You have any thoughts on the Honky Tonk Man?
Thoughts on the Honky Tonk Man? A friend of mine did an independent show in Barnes up in Minnesota about 4 or 5 years ago. And he invited Honky Tonk Man to fly up there. You know, paid all expenses and stuff, and I gave him a good payday too. So I was talking to him about the old WWF days. I thought he would say something about Vince McMahon. Nothing.
Oh, wow.
Not. That son of a bitch, that MF.
Stephen Drummond in Canada. Black, just signature. That's the poster for the LJN.
What's an LHN?
The LJN action figures.
Oh, that's who makes them?
Oh, it made them, yeah, back in the 80s.
Yeah. I had no clue. I have one that's probably a little worse shape than the one you have.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I had fun with them. I played them. We talk about it all the time. Well, there's different kinds of it. I was a kid who enjoyed playing with the action figures. A lot of people just like to collect, which...
Yeah, I was never a collector.
Yeah, no, neither was I. Jameson Kelly in Canada. He wants black, just signature. That's the Wrestling Superstars poster that came with every figure. I don't know why I never held on to any of the posters, though. That was dumb. I guess because they were all just the same, but with different talent. It was like the same... Alright, John Lyons in Salem, New Hampshire. Wants black, just signature.
You know, people are really into this stuff the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, the prior 20 years, there was some interest, I guess.
It's gotta be neat for you to see.
But by individuals.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, if I knew this was gonna get this big, if I would've saved everything that people sent to me and everything, I'd have $2 million worth of stuff.
I believe it. I believe it.
I'm not kidding.
No, I know. I believe it 100%. I mean, when I just look at some of the stuff that these guys in the world send in, it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
I used to take the magazines because I had a subscription, and I would buy the PWIs at the newsstands and whatnot. But if I would go to a show and make a sign, I would cut it from the magazines. Now I see these people sitting in these magazines that are like in mint condition from 1982, and I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
All right, another trading card, WWF trading card. Tim Aiello in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. He wants just the signature in black.
Okay. I remember I met a girl over in Connecticut, and her name was Mindy. Well, George the animal just fell in love with her. Says, Ken, would you mind if I ask Mindy out on a date? I said, no, I said, I have no problem with that. Well, so he starts taking her up to Boston and over to Pittsburgh, and they're on the road all the time. And he just fell in love with her. So now, he's married and has a family back in Michigan. She got his phone number.
Oh boy. Uh-oh.
And he told her never to call while she was a maniac. She called the house all the time.
Oh, jeez.
That sounds like a Jerry Springer episode.
Yeah, right.
Nicholas De Silva in Canada. He wants black, the signature, and the Olympic strongman somewhere there on the magazine cover. '80swrestlingcon.com. Check out the list of all the upcoming signings.
Yeah, I told George the animal, I said, he must have treated her too nice. I said,
She got too comfortable.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's why you always gotta kind of be mean to them, you know?
Yeah,
A little bit.
well, you don't have to be me.
Hey Vicky, give me a water? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing with you. No,
I was never mean to her. I was never mean to anyone.
No, I know, it's just a joke. But yeah, no, that's some scary stuff. And now, well, nowadays, I don't know if anyone could even really get away with that because everyone's so connected anyway. So now it's not even just the phone number. Now they might have your social media page,
Yeah.
you know.
Your kids' pictures.
Oh, God forbid, yeah. Tim Aiello in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. Here's a personal collection picture right there. He wants red for that one, just the signature.
An old picture, Bobby Doyle.
Yeah,
The Black and Blue Express.
there you go. And then, of course, years later, his son went on to run an ECW and WCW, Bobby Duncombe Jr. I believe he passed away.
Drug overdose.
I don't know the cause, but I believe he did pass away. I know that. I saw him wrestle in ECW,
Yeah.
the Wildwood Convention Center against Bam Bam Bigelow.
Wildwood.
Yeah, the convention center. Watch the tram car, please.
Yeah.
All right, now we have what is this, Mattel?
No, that's Jack.
Jack's Pacific Classic Superstars Ken Patera. Quite a lot more detailed than the LJN.
Yeah.
Nicholas De Silva in Canada actually comes with its own barbell there. That's pretty
Barbell
cool.
and everything.
All right, so he wants white marker. Oh, is this, here we go. Just signature and the Olympic strongman on that.
Well, I look more like Ricky Martel than Pat Paterson.
There you go. Don't forget, guys, spend $100 on those future signings tonight, and then you'll get 3 autographs from the ECW stars, 80swrestlingcon.com. Look at that detail right there. Attention to detail. Alright, we have another of the Jack Pacific Classic Superstars photos. This one's Sean McBride, blue, just signature, so blue for that one. What do you want right there, I guess?
Yeah, I guess because this one's on the back.
Alright, So here we are with the LJN. This one's in much nicer condition than mine. Black, just signature up top, Sean McBride. So these are a pain in the ass to sign. Use well. We
Use this, that'll work better on the
rubber.
yes.
There you go.
Just through.
Well, yeah. There was an arrow point up, so I'm guessing on the midsection there.
Unless you're doing it on the back.
Well, the arrow was pointing up. Didn't
Yeah.
matter. Did they want it there?
Probably, so
Well,
you can do it.
just signature, right?
Yep. Do we have a yellow for this one?
I can't write
I don't
on
have a
there.
yellow marker.
I'm gonna print it. It just keeps sticking.
Yeah.
Post-it fell over.
What?
A little post-it fell. To your left, on your left.
How the hell does anybody write on this? Signature.
I have no idea. There you go. It's pretty good.
Not bad.
Jose Navarez, he
Yeah.
wants yellow. His signature on the
Yeah.
belt. So
Yeah,
there's
it's
the
the only yellow one we have, so
Alright, so
that should be
You
okay.
know,
alright, there you go. Now we're moving on to the wrestling calendar 1988. And who do we have for the month of August? There he is, Mr. Ken Patera.
never seen that before.
So, oh, you've never seen this before. So this is the first for you. Blue, just signature, August 1988.
Blue?
There you go. That's so interesting to me that guys can have all this merch and whatnot and not even know that they're a part of it. Alright.
Never got paid for it. Somebody made money.
There you go. Alright, here we have a replica of the old WWF Intercontinental Championship. Not too far, Butler, New Jersey, Ryan Martinez. Oh look, Scott Hall signed it already. So I
Yeah.
guess you can sign it as well. Oh wow, we got two of them. So there we go. There.
What color does he
He
want?
wants silver for that one.
It's gonna be silver on both.
Oh, silver on both, and then this is Danny Garcia. This has the red WWF logo on the Intercontinental title. Very, very nice.
Right there.
80swrestlingcon.com. Like when Shawn Michaels had one and Hall had one.
Exactly.
Now it's me and Patera. And we're gonna have a ladder match later.
Right, that ladder match. I don't know.
I like my chances against you in a ladder match because if I climb up fast, you won't be able to catch me.
That's right.
If we're on the ground,
I won't even
I'm not-
try.
Yeah, if we're on the ground, I don't like my chances very much. Alright, Danny Garcia, he wants silver, just signature. Without breaking the
There go the
place.
penalties.
You know, things happen. 80swrestlingcon.com. I'd like to thank our production man, Mike, for all his hard work today. Thank you. They sent him over from Radio Shack to make sure we could get up and running. It was good. 80swrestlingcon.com. Get those orders in. Don't forget, we're going to have an auction coming up in just a little bit with a bunch of different cool items. Right now, it looks like I'm being handed the World Wrestling, the Encyclopedia, the Dana Smith Encyclopedia. Ian doesn't even let me touch it. Ian's just like, nope.
Hey, I'm just
No,
gonna
I don't,
bring
want,
it
I
in.
don't want to, because now I might. It's like the Elder Scrolls.
We're doing
you know,
black on
it's-
this one. The elders, that's exactly. Like you to sign it big.
Sign it big, so big.
In black?
In black.
On the white part.
On the
Lots of
white part.
instructions on the white part. On the white part. 80swrestlingcon.com. If you want to have instructions on your memorabilia, find out how you can send this stuff in by going to 80swrestlingcon.com. Now, it's another encyclopedia. That's Carter Cole's encyclopedia. If you want to just hand it over, that's
That's
fine.
what I'm doing, yeah.
That's another thing that I learned about
Anywhere
since
over here.
I started hosting these. I never even knew that WWE put out encyclopedias every couple of years.
No,
Apparently every 4 years they update it.
the first coffee table book that I can remember was written by a girl from Brooklyn, Roberta Morgan. And, well, she interviewed me for, I don't know, several times, and the next thing I know, I'm in her apartment, and her husband's in, California, giving a seminar on something at Stanford University.
Wait, talk slower. No, I'm just kidding. I like where this is going.
Yeah, that was very interesting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You cut it off right before it gets good.
well,
No, I'll play it.
go into everything.
Yeah, we can put 2 and 2 together.
No, she was a real nice girl, I really liked her.
No, that is nice. And she wrote one of the WWF books?
Well, in 1980,
Okay.
She went.
Howard Finkel introduced us
Oh, all right.
over in Allentown. All places.
There you go, Allentown, PA.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a
All
whiff.
right, we're gonna have another break.
You having
80swrestlingcon.com.
yourself?
Get those orders in.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. All right, what time is it going to do it at? Just so I can give them a heads up. 30 minutes?
Yeah, I'll do that too.
Yeah,
Give me
it's
that
not
hand
gonna be
sanitizer, please.
All right, so
You shook my hand.
we're going to have an
What
auction
about this?
later on tonight. So here are some of the items that are going to be up for grabs. And keep in mind, all of these will be signed by Mr. Patera. He's just taking a short break right now. We have a WWF trading card. The auction's going to start off with that later on at $30. Not now. Don't leave those comments now. Next up, we have the infamous Ken Patera story, the Coliseum video presents. Yeah, good idea. That's going to be starting at $100. If you have a VHS, you're in luck. Doesn't matter if you don't. He's going to sign it anyway. We're going to have this frolicking on a bicycle, Ken Patera. I didn't want to say that. With his United States of America wrestling singlet from the Olympics. We're going to have him sign that. $50. Here we have the Victory Sports Series Wrestling Yearbook, 1980 yearbook. Andre the Giant, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and of course Ken Patera on the bottom. And then of course, always the great stuff on the back of these old magazines. We're going to start that off at $50 when it's time. Also, we have Inside Wrestling from February 1980. Ken Patera on the cover. I beat Backlund and Bruno both on one night. That's also going to start off at $50 in just a few minutes. And finally, we have the LJN Wrestling Superstars Handbook, coffee table book. I don't know if you canoodled with the author of this one too, but whatever. $100 will be the opening bid for that one when we do have our auction. Mr. Patera will be back with us in a few minutes. 80swrestlingcon.com for all the upcoming signings. Don't forget, if you spend $100 for these future signings, you're going to get an autograph with 3 ECW superstars. So, 80swrestlingcon.com for more information. See,
Okay.
I'm running out of stuff to talk about. So, 80swrestlingcon.com. Mr. Patera's coming back with us. Share those chats if you have any memories. Leave them in the chat as well. Here you. What's that? Not doing it right now. No, they're going to give me the heads. Tommy knows all that info. I just get.
What are we doing?
What are we doing? Now we have a chair from Robert Williams. Looks like it's been signed by many superstars already. There you go. And Patera's going to add his name to that list. Robert Williams. Are you on any social media or anything where fans can follow you? Or
Well, right now I'm doing a deal with Avi Klein.
okay,
You know Avi?
I don't know him, but I've heard of him.
Yeah. WWAB podcasts. And I have World's Strongest Podcast
Okay.
every Monday.
Oh, great.
What is today?
Today's Monday, so it's not happening today.
No, I had to cancel.
Okay. No, I think he does those on Facebook, I believe.
Yeah, on Facebook.
Yeah, 'cause I know Paul Roma was doing something with him.
Yeah, Paul Roma, Don Morocco, Glacier, Del Wilkes.
Cool, good stuff. So
Yeah.
we'll tell everybody to find you there.
Yeah.
The World's Strongest Podcast every Monday.
Yeah, and
I'll take it.
right now they're having a tournament for, to see who's gonna,
Guest host or something, right? I did see
yeah,
something.
yeah, well, host of the Green Room,
Oh,
which
okay.
is every Saturday.
Cool.
And, so it's, interesting. I enjoyed doing it. I didn't think I would. Jesus Christ.
Now this right here, this Survivor Series shirt from November of 1987, this is from Ian Levy's personal collection. He still wears it when he goes roller skating. So no, it's for Chad Watcha. And Black, oh I bet it does, Cowboy. Black, just signature. Shout out to Chad Watcha. Survivor Series 1987.
That was,
Let's use this one so it doesn't bleed through.
I just noticed what's on, that it was a Googie shirt. I'm looking at it the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm going, oh, it's just a Hawaiian tropical theme.
They call it the truffle shelter.
I like it. Is it from Roosevelt's?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah, those guys have like the license for everything.
Everything. They just released a Caddyshack collection not too long ago.
There you go. Neil Menard wants to know if we could see a full Nelson challenge. I want to see if Ryan can get out. Nope, I'm not taking the swinging full Nelson.
So now we got our
Not if I
flag.
have a say in it. All right, our buddy Rob Kerr from Australia. He's got his WWF flag. I'm going to stand out of the way for this one.
see what that is.
We're doing silver on this.
You have to let him look up at you, and I'm like, fuck.
I'll play.
I'm bored. Yeah.
Really? It's the door. I don't see it this far.
And then we got Carter Cole's flag coming up.
Ian Lee, it's Ian's segment. This is your segment. Get him out.
I just, yeah,
So this one is Carter Cole. We got your flag here. And then this one is silver too.
Should have them sign these.
Jeff, you want to just
As they come to the store.
Oh, yeah.
all right. Any more flags, Ian?
no flags.
All right.
Right.
You're a grand.
So I think that brings up. Oh no, actually we have Emil's big picture in the back here.
Okay. So this is Emil Menard. He's from Massachusetts. He's a winner of a lot of our auctions. Maybe he'll win some tonight, but this is his poster.
Let's do it and let's do that.
Pretty soon he's going to throw his kids out of the house to make room for more photos.
Yeah,
'Cause I don't know where he's putting all of them, but he is our #1 fan.
just the signature
We
here.
like this, 2 mil, #1 80s wrestling fan.
Yeah, we don't complain when he asks for the dollars because he spends a lot of money. I have that same basket at home.
It's the best, right?
I mean, it was actually given to me like by a buddy as like a spare.
Right.
He said, "Here, take it." So you're the only other person I've seen with it. So that's pretty
I
cool.
have this, and the other one that I got from them was the painting from Goodfellas.
Oh, okay. One dog goes this way, one dog goes that
And
way.
then, what do you want from me?
Yeah. My favorite part though of that whole scene is when he goes, yeah, it's a sip. It's a sip.
Yeah. The hoof.
Delicious. Delicious.
My favorite movie.
Well, that's why I told you. That's why I
Yeah.
booked, you know, Mafioso Bruno Sammartino against Ken Patera. And Ken Patera just ripped his fingers off. Because,
Yeah.
you know, stereotypes were very big in the 80s.
There you go, Emil, you
Yeah,
are
I'll tell you,
there.
very interesting story, it's kind of funny, really.
Go for it.
Bruno Sammartino grew up in Abruzzi, Italy, during the Second World War.
His family had to hide from the Nazis.
Yeah, they were hiding, and the village was just totally leveled.
Yeah.
You know who one of his neighbors was? Dominic DiNucci.
That I did not know.
Yes.
I knew that he was hiding up in the hills and his mother had to go back down for supplies, but I never
Yeah.
knew Dominic DiNucci was involved in
Yeah,
that.
Dominic was in the same village, a couple blocks away. They never knew each other until they immigrated to the United States.
Wow.
Yeah, and they met up in either Toronto or Pittsburgh. They originally went to Toronto.
That's mind blowing to
Yeah.
think about.
Yeah.
Small world, you never know. Alright, so guys, now we're going to start the auction, I believe. So here's how this is going to work. Was it 2 minutes or 3? What do we do? 3? Can I have a clock person? Alright, well, I guess we're going to have to guesstimate.
Does.
Huh?
Alright, so you're just going to hold it up.
3 minutes.
3
And
minutes for
black.
each item. Don't forget, guys, we are dealing with a Wi-Fi shortage, and I know that we've had some complaints in the past. I apologize. I am sticking to 3 minutes. When it says 3 minutes on my end, the auction ends. So if you want to put in a bid, put in a big one, all right? And it's going to begin right now. So 3 minutes on the clock, $30 is what we're looking for the opening bid for this Ken Patera trading card. So who's going to make the opening bid? $30 is what we're looking for. It will be signed by Mr. Patera. $30 is what we're looking for.
That's cheap.
And, well, then we're gonna start it at 30,
Oh.
and then we're gonna see if it goes up. I'm dealing with some lag on my end on this phone, so we're gonna just try to do the best that we can. So maybe you want to open with a bid larger than 30, because it's gonna be close, guys. I'm lagging pretty bad over here. All right. If you guys see a bid, feel free to shout it out, because maybe it's just my phone. I'm not getting it.
So the feed you haven't even,
What's that?
the feed hasn't even caught up to you.
Oh wow.
You're just explaining it now.
We're that far ahead.
You're 3 minutes right now.
You're basically
Now we're at 2
a
minutes, so we're a minute
So you're a
behind.
minute behind.
I mean, how do you navigate that?
Call the store.
Let's go a minute. Let's go 4 minutes for your end here, but actually 3.
Alright, well, we're looking for a $30 bid. If these items do not get bid on, we are here tonight and tonight only at the Wrestling Collector store. So Mr. Patera still will sign these items and they will be available for sale in the store. Follow the Wrestling Collector on Instagram.
Emil 30.
Emil came in with $30. Yeah, see, I'm not even getting that on mine. And I just refreshed.
I'll tell you.
Alright. So now, guys, looks like I'm in a situation where I'm not even seeing your comments at all. So bear with me. But if you want to make a bid, Mike will help us out. Like I said, we're doing this on the fly. We thank everybody that made this possible tonight. We thank Mr. Patera, of course, 80s Wrestling, Tommy Fierro, the Wrestling Collector. Alright, we're still at 30 for Emil. Can I see 35? We got about a minute left on my end, but I don't know. I think where you guys are watching it now, it's this morning. So, $30 right now from Emil.
black.
If I could see
All
35.
black.
Yeah, black.
I like hearing myself a minute ago. I feel like I'm time traveling. All right, 30 seconds left. And then we'll just have to reset and start over because it's 3 minutes for every item. All right, $30 for Emil Menard. He is our reigning champion.
50, Rich Lopez.
Rich Lopez just comes in with a whopping $50.
That's what I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna start it at 50.
Yeah, well, Tracy Velez, time goes on, buddy. That happens. All right, Rich Lopez at 50. Can we see somebody top 50 Don't forget, if you are the winner of the auction, please PayPal money to @80sWrestlingPicks or 80sWrestlingPicks@gmail.com. All right, time is up. Rich Lopez, you win the signed Ken Patera action card, trading card, whatever you want to call it. $50 goes to you. Can we ban this Tracy guy from the...
Yep. Already on it.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, guys. We're not going to be tolerating stuff like that in the chat. Alright, so... How does this work? Is it going to be personalized and if you want it or no? Just a signature? There's a lot going on at the table right now.
Just signature.
Just signature? Alright, so...
Rich Lopez
You wanna-
outbid himself.
What's that?
Rich Lopez outbid himself and put 60.
Well, because you know what? There's a delay. That's probably why. There's a big delay.
You might have thought he got outbid, right?
I already announced him as the winner at 50, so...
It's catching up.
Alright, so we're going to reset that clock. Next up, we have this picture of you out on a day of cycling. There you go.
That was in Dallas, Texas. It was about 112 degrees that day.
I can believe it. I can believe it.
Yeah.
Well, here-
Good looking guy back. Well, I'm still.
Handsome devil.
Yeah.
This almost looks like the beginning of like an 80s sitcom. You're riding the bike, you're smiling.
Yeah.
Come
You
on,
know?
don't.
His company, it's Ken Patera. All right, 3 minutes on the clock. We're looking for $50 opening bid. This will be personalized to you by Mr. Patera. It's him in Dallas, Texas. It was 112 degrees. And he's riding a bicycle. He will sign this for you. Don't forget, it can be signed just his signature. If you win, it could be personalized. Did we start the clock on that one yet?
Yep.
All right, so where are we at with the clock on that?
15 seconds in.
Oh, all right. Well, I just
Yep.
just so I can usually follow along. Can we lower that, please?
Yeah,
It's really messing me up. Thank you. 80sWrestlingCon.com. Can we get that opening bid? $50 for the autograph photo. Just keep me aware if you see any bids coming in.
Do
Might
you
increase
want this
fees.
signed?
Yeah, just a signature on that, please.
WrestlingCon.com for all the upcoming signings we have. We have about just under 2 minutes left for you to get a bid in for this 8x10 photo. It will be personalized, it'll be signed, whatever you prefer. We just need someone to bid. If it does not get bid on, it will be signed and for sale here at the Wrestling Collector Store. While we're waiting for some bids on that, for one final time, I'm going to list the upcoming signings that we have. Don't forget, August 22nd. That's the big one, Virtual Mania 2 Attitude. I keep almost wanting to say tickets because that's such a huge event you'd think that it was be an actual live event. It's going to be a virtual signing, lots of great talent. Almost said Dean Malenko. That's another one. But Dean Malenko is coming up on another one. But for Virtual Mania 2, we're going to have the Headbangers. We're going to have D'Lo Brown. We're going to have Billy Gunn and Mark Henry. Next week, we're back with Eric Rowan and Darren Young. June 7th, Rock and Roll Express. June 21st, the original Head Shrinkers, Rikishi Fatu and Samu. June 28th, Val Venus. That's going to be a fun one. July 5th, Tyrus. July 26th, Dean Malenko. August 2nd, another fun one, The Godfather. August 16th, Mark Merrow. September 13th is our gimmick night with the Brooklyn Brawler, Bushwhacker Luke, and Men on a Mission's Mo and Oscar. September 20th, really can't wait for this one. Very rare appearance by the Doctor of Style, Reverend Slick. October 11th, Barry Windham and J.J. Dillon. And of course, October 25th, just announced today, the Virtual Spooktacular with the Boogeyman, Gangrel, and Vicious Vicky Elvira. There you go. I just gave you a costume off the top of my head. See what I did
Ian
there?
Levy will be bobbing for Apple.
Oh, there you go. So when you go for the catering that day, just buy a lot of apples.
Buy a lot of apples.
All right,
Honeycrisp.
time's up. Nobody placed a bid as far as I know, unless I missed it while doing the rundown. Okay, so this will be signed by Mr. Patera and available for sale here at the Wrestling Collector Store. Moving right along, we have the Inside Wrestling February 1980 edition Ken Patera on the cover talking about how he beat Bob Backlund and Bruno both on one night. We're going to start that clock. We're looking for $50 opening bid. $50. Spend $100 or more for future signings. Get a free autograph of 3 ECW stars. Go to 80swrestlingcon.com. But right now, we're looking for this magazine. We got 2 magazines. This is the first one. $50. We're looking for the opening bid. $50. My phone will go to gas soon. Oh, we're almost done, right? 9:30. Do you have that charger by any chance? Or no?
I forgot it today.
Vicky, you have a charger? Oh no, you're using one for that.
No, that's his. Is there an outlet close by?
You don't have an iPhone, do you?
It's not a long one.
But do you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
Oh, alright, good. Alright, we're looking for an opening bid of $50.
Oh, wait.
Car charger.
I don't think they saw that, so that's why.
Yeah, I knew that was off. Kind of would have been fun again.
I don't know if this is gonna reach, but whatever. We'll figure it out. Where'd you work? I can have it on my lap. So now if you see me looking down, it's because of that. This has been a very trying day, but we've gotten through it. Thank you, Mr. Patera, for being here with us today. We're looking for a $50 opening bid. Inside Wrestling, February 1980. Looking for that opening bid. If someone sees it before I do, feel free to shout it out. Got about 60 seconds left. Rich Lopez just came in with 50, or is my chat
Rich
back?
Lopez.
All right, so Rich Lopez comes in with 50. I don't know, is Rich Lopez gunning for Emil Menard's title? I mean, this might be the first time that we've had a double winner that's not named Emil Menard. Rich Lopez came in with $50. Got about 35 seconds left. Again, that's on my time, 35 seconds. You might be a little bit behind, so.
Seconds off, yeah.
Oh, so it's way behind, yeah. Look at Rich Lopez. He's asking questions as he's bidding. Look at that. Now that's a all-purpose kind of fella right there. All right, and we are sold to Rich Lopez. That's his second win in a row. February 1980 Inside Wrestling $50 bid. And just because he's won twice, he also asked a question. He wants to know if you have any memories of Philadelphia. Anything that stands out, maybe about wrestling in Philadelphia?
You asking me?
Yes, yes, sir.
First time I pulled into Philly, I had heard about these cheese.
Oh, the cheesesteaks.
Yeah, cheesesteak sandwiches. I'd never seen them. And somebody says, "Well, you go down here and you take a left. It's next to the telephone pole. Just park your car. They won't mess with your car."
Famous last words.
Well, the goddamn bus stop.
Ugh.
So anyway, I parked my car there. I said, hell with it. Because it's right there on the sidewalk.
Do you remember where you went for the steaks? Was it Pat's, Gino's?
Well, it was Gino's.
Gino's, that's the best. Gino Vento, buddy of mine. Gino's Steaks.
Yeah, that's right on the sidewalk, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, you know, because Pat's is right nearby, sometimes they get confused. So shout out to my buddy Gino Vento. Ken
Yeah.
Patera is a big fan of the steaks.
Rich again?
That is Rich Lopez again. Right now we have the Wrestling 1980 yearbook with Andre the Giant, Ricky Steamboat, and Ken Patera on the cover. We're going to look for $50 for this one as well. We're going to start that clock right now. Can I see $50?
50.
Chris Briggs.
Yeah, LOP.
What's up with the feed today? Usually no problems. We explained several times, but just in case you're just joining us, there was a town-wide Wi-Fi outage in our area, so we've had to finagle and do different things to get this going. So we apologize for the inconvenience with the feed. Believe me, I'm just as upset too, because I like taking some of these clips and putting them up on my Instagram. We're going to try to make it work. We're doing the auction right now, and we're looking for a $50 bid for the 1980 Wrestling Yearbook. Opening bid of $50. If someone has it, give it to us. Looking for that $50 bid.
How many more of these do you have?
There's different ones that they have.
Anything that I missed or no? Alright, still waiting for that $50 bid, 80swrestlingcon.com for all upcoming signings. Right now we have this auction going. Right after this we have 2 more items to auction. So far we have Rich Lopez, what's his name I believe? He's one.
Lopes.
What's that?
I made sure. He said it's Lopes, not Lopez.
I can't hear you.
It's Lopes, not Lopez.
Oh, Lopes.
He
Sorry.
said.
Sorry. From now on I'll call you Lopez. Alright, so $50. Richard Lupus, do you have a bet? Or a bid? Let's see. Alright, we have about 35 seconds left. Don't forget this will be signed and available at the Wrestling Collector store if you don't want it. Emile Menard's been silent in the auction tonight. Newcomer Richard LaPa is really, no, I'm just playing. I gotta have some fun. But Richard Lopez has won too, so we've got 10 seconds left to get a third one in. And, alright, this will be signed by Mr. Patera and available for sale at the Wrestling Collector store. I think I'm gonna do this one next, save this for last. Right now we have the Wrestling Superstars LJN Coffee Table Book. This has the story behind all these figures. I think I might need one of these just for myself. Pretty cool. Ken Patera will sign it. $100, we're looking for it. 3 minutes on the clock right now. $100 opening bid. Who's got it? The complete guide to LJN Wrestling Superstars action figures.
Blue marker.
$100.
You know what? Can I? No, I'm not gonna try it.
What are you looking for?
This one is Ken Patera.
Here's blue right here.
I see champ.
Looking for that opening bid of $100 for the LJN guide. We're done taking orders from Mr. Patera, I believe, for the evening. However, the store is open for the future signings. If you spend $100, you will get 3 autographs from ECW Superstars. So order up for those future signings. Spend that $100. Don't forget the Virtual Mania 2 orders are now being taken at the 80swrestlingcon.com website. Also, all the great signings coming up. Next week, we're going to be here with Eric Rowan and Darren Young. So please be here for that. Are you getting any? I'm not getting anything at all. It's like completely dead.
Dead.
So we have nothing right now.
No deads.
Yeah, like it's showing me the Wrestling Collector outside side.
Oh, I see the feed there.
Oh, the feed's working.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm telling you, my feed's not even working.
Oh, I thought you meant nobody was commenting.
Oh, okay. I'm getting this something went wrong and I'm reloading, and it's not working. So I can't see anything, so just if you have anything important, shout it out. At least it lasted as long as it did for me. So we are looking for the first bid, $100. Got about 45 seconds remaining, and then we have a very, very interesting final item that's being auctioned, which I really hope does go, because I can't see how it looks.
Not it's gonna be my collection.
What's that, buddy?
If not, it's gonna be my personal collection.
Alrighty. 25 seconds left. Mike, if you get anything, let me know. Oh yeah, now I'm down to 4G and 1 bar.
Well, mine clearly held up.
Oh, alright, Sassy.
It's the iPhone 12.
And
thumbs
we are going to have this signed and available at the Wrestling Collector. Okay, and now finally, the infamous The Ken Patera story from Coliseum Video. So, Olympic medalist, WWF superstar, makes his comeback against Hercules Hernandez, King Harley Race, Honky Tonk Man, and more. Plus, a rare team-up with Hulk Hogan. We're looking for $100 for this. So, I don't know if anyone's interested, but the opening bid's $100. This is a VHS tape. It's available on hi-fi, stereo, hi-fi, not Wi-Fi, hi-fi. What's that?
Just move it over
Move
so it's
it
not getting
over.
that. Perfect. You're on camera.
All right. Well, $100 opening bid. We're looking for it, front and back. I think I have this at home, but I stole it from the library. I didn't steal it. I just, I forgot. And then what happens? $100 looking for that opening bid. Who's got it? I'm completely in the dark now, so I'm relying on other eyes. Is what? Okay. $100. But you know what? I think the feed's like a minute behind right now, so I don't even know what he's asking about. This is $100, so this bid, opening bid $100. Where you at, Emil?
He's there, he's watching.
Broke.
Man, Mike just called you out, Emil.
Gonna have to go get a second job
Yeah,
to buy all this stuff.
Do we know what Emil does?
he's a mailman.
That's a good job.
He said his feet is stuck.
He says what?
He said his feet is stuck, but he did put in a large order tonight for the future son.
Ian Levy, $100.
No, yeah, exactly.
You commented on it.
Yeah, well, I commented because he's saying, did you all start the auction on the tape? You're in and out. So I said $100.
I think that counts as an official bid.
No, my wife would kill me like you know that.
And he was like, I can't bid $100. I have to buy 12 more of those shirts. They're actually expensive. They're like $60
$60 a piece.
Yeah, because I have a couple of the WWE ones. All right, we have still about 1 minute and 45. I don't understand how no one's bidding on this. The Ken
I'll be
Patera-
happy to add that to my personal collection.
Yeah, there you go. So $100 is the opening bid we're looking for. I'm in the dark. Mike is looking for me. If we get a bid, shout it out.
Just Ian Levy's.
Well, as we're waiting for those bids to come in, I would like to thank Mr. Patera for his time tonight. Man flew in from Minnesota to New Jersey because right now we're having tropical weather compared to there. And but it's got to be great for you to catch up with your fans over the years and see all these things. Is there anything else that you have coming up that you'd like to plug, or where they can find you? You have the thing with Abby Klein, you were saying, every Monday,
Yeah.
World's Strongest Podcast.
Yeah, World's Strongest Podcast, and then this Saturday I'll be on the green room because it's a tournament. And what it is, it pits one-on-one with your opponent. And if you beat your opponent, then you move on to the next week to see who's gonna be the host of the green room eventually. There's like 64 people involved here.
Oh wow.
So this is a process that's gonna take a while.
No, it's definitely great, and we always love to see guys from your era being active with podcasting and different, because different avenues. Because from your era, because you guys have a lot of stories to tell and a lot of knowledge to share.
There's not very many of us left.
That's true too.
You know,
I was trying to be a little positive.
I'm an oddity.
No, I agree. I agree.
Emil came in with 100 for something.
Emil,
What?
Emil's 100.
Okay. Anybody else?
No.
All right. Well,
Never
congratulations, Emil Menard. You are
Then
the
someone
winner.
said there's an auction now.
Yeah. Well.
This Kyle James, I guess his service is going in.
Yeah, people says
well, we
going.
apologize to everybody. We did our best to get through this. It will be better next week. So, Emil Menard, $100. Congratulations, winner of the VHS copy of the Ken Patera story. It will be signed by Mr. Patera. For the other items that were not won, they will be available here at the Wrestling Collector Store. So make sure you give them a follow on Instagram. My name is Ryan Marr. I'm your host for Vicious Vicky at the pre-show, and of course, Mr. Ken Patera, former